Podcast, a platform created to entertain, educate, and evolve the modern-day deer hunter. Hey everyone, I just wanted to say a big thank you for we came up here and actually have passed our first year of the podcast, and it's Sunday afternoon as I'm recording this, and Friday evening a couple of the guys came over and we had a couple drinks and got loose and talked some deer hunting. And I had intentions to get into a long list of listener submitted questions that have come in and topics that I really want to touch on, and we didn't get to much of it at all. We got blindsided, sidetracked. Actually, one of my friends ended up stopping in here in the middle of the podcast, somewhat unannounced, and we got way off track. But we enjoyed the hell out of it. We've enjoyed the hell out of the first year. Everyone that messages in week to week and writes in, all you guys that we've met in person. I just can't say how appreciative I am and the other guys are for the support that we've been given here in our first year, and we've learned a lot, and really looking forward to moving on here through the next year. So we're going to try to make it a point. Our lives have just been crazy with work and young families and trying to do this essentially as a hobby, that we haven't had much time at all to sit down as a group and record, and it hasn't been by design. It's just trying to balance life. So hopefully here in the weeks to come, months to come, leading up into the 2018 deer season, which, crazy enough, we're just months away from, we're going to try to make it a point to get together a little more frequently, get a little more content out, do a little bit more gear review, and answer a lot of the questions that guys and girls have written in. So I know we've been doing somewhat of a bad job, but we've just been struggling to find balance and keep our heads above water. But I think I see a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel now, and we should be able to get together as a group and do this a little more frequently. But anyways, I just wanted to say thank you. I really mean it when I say that. It's been awesome. I'm proud of the community of guys and girls that we've built, and I look forward to growing it and doing this for years to come. So we did mention on this podcast, there's a couple quick things that I want to bring attention to. Patreon is a crowdfunding platform that we've signed up with, and we're in the process right now of rebuilding our website, but by the time everybody listens to this, I believe it'll be done, and you can go there, and there will be a link on the homepage of the website, and it'll say support the show. And if you click on that, it'll take you to our Patreon account, and essentially what that is a closed group. And by you donating and funding the podcast, you can be part of that closed group. There will be some exclusive content provided for those folks that do decide to support us through that manner. And then it also looks to be a bit of a forum where you can write in and weigh in on different things, and we could chat and answer questions. So it looks fun, and I'm excited about it, and it'll help us to grow this thing without having to take in essentially sponsorship dollars, which is what we've been trying to avoid all along. But that poses its own set of problems, and it's relatively difficult. And so anybody that would be kind enough to go and do that, it would be greatly appreciated. And then also, I just wanted to say one of the reasons that we are changing our website is available here very shortly in the next week or two. We're going to have some hats, t-shirts, sweatshirts, koozies, stickers, maybe a few other miscellaneous items. And what I'll probably do is everyone that's subscribed to our newsletter on our website, I will send that out so that they can get first pick at what's up there. I don't know if we'll have. I think we'll have an quantity that will supply any demand that will have an influx. So shouldn't be a problem for anybody that wants to go to our website and take a look at that gear that's coming up. And again, all that's going to do is help us fund the show, grow it, and not only grow it, keep it going. This has cost me, quite a bit out of my pocket to do here in the first year, and to justify that to my household and keep this going for years to come, I'll have to find some type of balance. That's the reality of doing this. So at this point, it's a hobby. I got no intentions on giving it up. But thanks, everybody, and we'll get to our regularly recorded program that we did here Friday night. Thanks for listening. Damn it. Was definitely something I was just gonna.
Victorious. These guys pulling meat.
What?
Catching all these walleye. I heard that's their dragon harnesses is how everybody's catching them.
Yeah,
Now.
dragon meat.
Dragon meat. Meat dragon.
Pulling meat after they
I
get
really
home.
have fun jigging.
I got my Perco custom rod yesterday.
I
2 days
heard
ago.
Tommy broke his.
Really?
Yeah, Baker broke his.
Already,
Bringing
huh?
a jumbo in the boat.
Really?
So be careful.
Ooh, boy, he's gonna hear about that.
Expensive.
He's gonna hear about that
I'm
for
gonna buy
sure.
5 cheap rods, so I never care. All Spider-Man.
I can't believe he broke it on a walleye or a
Mhm.
sturgeon.
Flipping a walleye in the boat.
Well, it's not like he's making the fiberglass rods, right? He's just
Right.
buying.
He's buying it blanks. Yeah.
Right.
They're MX.
It's really the handles that he's doing.
Yeah, and he's tying all the eyes on and everything,
Mm-hmm.
which is a pain in the ass.
That's pretty cool, I guess.
I looked into making a fishing rod for about 10 minutes and realized it was way too boring for me to do.
Yeah. Leave it to the professionals.
It's pretty badass. It says handmade by Perco Customs,
Mm-hmm.
St. Clair Flats, and it's number 26 out of his list. It's got my
Nice.
name on there and everything.
Nice. Yeah, I'd like to order one from him. I just too cheap right now.
I think we're looking good. Everybody's got looks like a pretty good squiggly.
Squig me?
Squigs.
Giggity giggity goo. My squigs are small.
That's intentional, I'm sure.
I think you were just talking quietly at that.
Your squigs will find a way to get bigger.
We'll see. A couple more beers, maybe.
There.
We're gonna get your squigglies nice and big.
Good.
Hey, hi,
Hey there.
welcome back.
Yeah, it's been a while.
March, I think was the last one I sat on it.
Merch.
Merch.
When was that? What were we
March?
talking about?
Really?
Yeah, I think it was March.
I know we did a review.
The scouting workshop.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would have been like a couple weeks after the scouting.
It was like a month
Sure.
after.
When
So
was
it
the
was
sc-
April then.
April. It's been a while though.
It has been.
Drew's is always is the quietest one. He's the
Hi, everybody.
It's me back here.
bye, buddy. Hope you find your dad.
It's just because I'm usually so depleted of energy by the time we sit down for this.
Friday night though, this is nice. I mean,
It's a first in a long time for me.
well, it's like you said, the last time we all got to sit down was March.
Yeah.
Just been crazy, right? Everybody with work,
Family.
family, work, springtime. It went from winter to summer. It was like 2 weeks to do any kind of,
Yard work or whatever.
yeah.
Fishing. A little bit of fishing.
I didn't even get a fishing license yet.
I know.
I haven't touched my fishing pole. You guys have all offered multiple times, and it's just has not been possible. I've been struggling to keep up with any and all of the podcast quote-unquote responsibilities.
Well, there's responsibilities.
I
that come
missed
with
a
that.
week. I missed a week, and I
I
kind
thought
of
you
just
showed up every couple months and sat down and talked.
yeah. And then everything gets edited and published.
Yeah, it
and
works great.
We missed an episode a couple weeks ago. That was the first time, I think, in a year, really.
Oh, you missed a week?
Well, the Memorial Day, I realized at like 7 p.m. Monday night that it was Monday night, and I usually put them out then, and I'd been barbecuing and drinking. I was in no shape to like sit down and do any of that kind of thing. I just got off on my days, and I was like, you know what? I deserve a break.
Yeah. No, it's Memorial Day, man. It's not meant to do any work.
Well, I had big plans. I was hoping that you guys were going to come over and
That Friday or something?
yeah, in Bommarito, or at some point over the weekend, that because we had a long weekend, we'd be able to come over here and have some drinks and
Get
hang out.
loosey-goosey?
And everybody was yeah, right.
I spent 3 days roofing in 90-degree weather for my Memorial weekend, so I was pretty burnt out by the end
It
of
was
it.
90 up there.
It was brutal.
So this is our 1 year
Anniversary?
celebratory anniversary episode. We're past that date, but this is kind of the first time we've had the opportunity to sit and do this since then. So I figured tonight we'll make it our 1 year celebratory show.
We're on to solids now.
I am Rob Burgundy.
We're on
Salads.
So I brought a little pick me upper or party favor or something that I figured we could partake in. If you want to pop the lid on that cooler that's right there by your...
Oh, this shitty cooler back here?
Maybe you know what might be the move? Why don't you hand that cooler...
To you?
Yeah, why don't you pop it open, take a look what's in there, and then hand it over here and I'll do the work. That cooler is extra shitty, right?
A little bit of black velvet there.
Oh, no.
Wow, I didn't know what I was in for that.
Yeah.
So
I'm apparently the only one who has to work tomorrow morning, I guess.
I was just thinking about like what's happened here in the first year, and you know, all the guys that listen week in, week out that have supported us in our first year, and then especially a thank you to like the companies that before we were even a podcast were like talking with us and thought what we were going to do was a cool idea and supported us. And one of those companies is obviously Exodus.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they are the first company that supported our podcast and supported what we do and have helped us be able to do this for the first year. So they're running a summertime thing right now. It's called Velvet Fest.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're familiar with or seen the post or if you get any of the emails.
I saw one of their posts here recently.
So I wanted to name this episode Black Velvet Fest.
Black Velvet Fest. That's classy.
Yeah, and I thought, and someone had brought up Black Velvet on the podcast a while back
One
about
of us?
how I was like a big fan of it or whatever, and it was never that I was a big fan of it. It just was a very inexpensive.
It was what we drank at deer camp.
Yeah,
It's all we could afford.
yeah. Black
A lot
Velvet.
of black velvet and hot dogs consumed up there.
Blended Canadian whiskey. So I figured tonight we'll have ourselves a Black Velvet. I got a cooler full of ice. I got a 2-liter of Diet Coke. I got a 2-liter of regular Coke. Pick which one you want to give you cancer, the sugar or the chemicals. It's up to you. Either way you want to spin it.
I always pick sugar over chemicals,
Really?
although it's chemical sugar.
I like to drink my black velvet with a little bit of water and ice.
Yeah, the water and ice is that's a learned.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, in the summertime when I'm drinking whiskey, I always pour, a little bit of water in there. Really
Do it up big.
really benefits you the next day. Do you need a cup?
A little bit of ice.
A little bit of ice. Oh, he's got a cup right here. And going back to one of our original episodes and one of our original complaints,
Oh, the ice jingles.
the ice jiggles in the
People
Rambler.
They're going to enjoy this
So,
episode.
You know what? We went like a whole year with doing that guy the favor of not doing that.
That's over. It's all over.
But
It's
it's a
our-
new year.
It's our birthday.
And we're going to have a little hard restart here.
I hope he doesn't have to find a new podcast. Because we can't afford to lose any listeners.
Man, what a nice evening, huh?
Perfect.
God.
I did see a skeeter fly just past your head. I can go get my thermocell and set that up.
You know what? I sprayed the shit out of this yard this morning. But, yeah, I mean, we're 20 foot from the woods, so. The ticks have sucked. Got a lot of ticks on. Want to hand me that Black Velvet?
Speaking of ticks,
Hashtag Black Velvet Fest. I'd really
Weren't
like
you
to
using
see that.
something?
I'd like to see that catch on. Just
Yeah, I can never remember how to pronounce this shit though.
do you want to look and see if there's a hashtag for Black Velvet or
I'll
Black
look.
Velvet Fest, or if we're starting one maybe. So thanks for being here, guys, for Black Velvet Fest. The
great to
kickoff,
be here.
kind of the kickoff, I think, to our 2018 deer season. I know we've all kind of individually been working on things and whatnot, but we get to sit down tonight and kind of talk about some gear, some strategies, some plans for this upcoming deer season. Yeah.
not seen it.
There's no hashtag for Black Velvet?
Black Velvet Fest.
Well, that I'm not surprised about, but I bet you there's a good
No, I
one.
got 247 posts for Black Velvet.
That's it, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, flying under the radar.
I
all
feel
these
like I
years.
got a pretty good idea of what you're going to find in hashtag Black Velvet. How good is it?
That shit that I used for the ticks was permethrin.
Oh, that's not
Permethrin.
bad at all.
It's smooth. A lot of good stuff, man. There's a lot of good stuff on here.
Well, I hope by the end of the summer that there's a lot of good stuff in the hashtag Black Velvet Fest.
Yep.
So what that is just the guys from Exodus, kind of putting together
Little summer campaign.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of the kickoff to next season, and they're building a little bit of a community. It's kind of cool if you go in there and see what guys are doing. It's obviously a ton of people that are running Exodus cameras and customers and things like that. It's kind of a, when you talk to Chad and Steve, they know their customer base, which is kind of cool, Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
guy's
I need to get mine out. That's a confession.
yeah.
I don't have any trail cams in the woods right now.
So, trail cams is one of the things we got a handful of messages in about, covering some trail camera stuff. And I got those, 2 of those Treks.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get one?
Mm-mm.
Okay. You took one for a little while. Did you play with it at all?
I just messed around with it in the yard, but I know you took it back up to the pigeon, didn't you?
Yeah, I took both the Treks and put them out in the pigeon. And so I haven't, man, I wasn't going to stop talking about the pigeon so much. The forest.
Right.
They're going to know what that is too. Didn't really
There's a lot of
outsmart
good
anybody
woods.
there.
There's a lot of good woods around.
There is.
You can find good deer in any of them woods.
We always said we were never going to be those guys,
Well, I mean,
But as I fall more and more in love with that place, and one of the reasons
it's
is
no hidden secret that we hunt up there. You can't
Right.
have Drew Youngdyke on the podcast at deer camp and people not know where you're sitting because that guy's the biggest
this is
pigeon
podcast
advocate.
land, though. You don't know who never listened to that
No.
episode who just started tonight.
It's true.
I'd be pretty generous
That's okay.
with a
We'll
lot of
throw
my
'em- we'll throw 'em
areas.
the bone.
You know,
Honestly, a couple guys messaged me this week about going up this summer to the Pigeon to look for elk and do some hiking and whatnot. And I was like, well, aren't you gonna look for some hunting spots up there while you're up there? And they're like, well, I didn't want to seem like I was going up there to
Yeah.
and I'm like,
that'd be the first thing. I'm going to scout the pigeon.
and I basically said, I was
Hashtag
like, well,
Deer Hunt Podcast.
don't text me and ask me about sightseeing and hiking up there. I can answer spot if you're looking for an idea, a deer hunting spot, or
Right.
maybe where to start. But all I ever do when I go up there is deer hunt. So I'm not much of a tour guide for the area. I point them in the direction of Drew Youngdyke. They can do some fast packing, and
That man's an animal.
he is. What was that noise? It's my neighbors.
Yeah,
Oh
probably.
yeah, that window's open. My neighbors are super special.
I was out there. What are you doing? Climbing a tree? It was great.
The one is, and this is a new term that I learned this week, and I gotta give complete full credit to the guys over at Whitetail Experience. Are you familiar with who they are?
Mm-mm.
They're on Instagram. They're definitely worth
Oh,
following.
you know what? I think I did.
They do public land, some public land filming.
What are they again?
Whitetail Experience,
I think I do follow them.
and they're on Instagram. And they were on. So my wife and kid are walking out here right now. So, hi guys.
Hi.
They were on the. I started listening to last week the Working Class Bowhunter podcast. You ever listen to it?
Mm-hmm.
No, I haven't listened
I've
to it
listened
yet.
to them.
I never have. Dude, those guys are fucking hilarious.
Really?
Hilarious.
They're like right up our alley.
Yeah, but they're fun. Like I think one guy in particular on there. I think I heard them actually say that he does do stand-up comedy,
Oh,
Oh.
really?
and he was just real smooth about getting in some good stuff, dude. And it is. It's right up our. Like, I think that's why I had such a high level of appreciation
I'll have to give him a listen.
for it. Yeah, it's well worth it.
They're a little bit of a potty mouth podcast as well,
Dude,
right?
that's another big thing I love about, because they they gave me, like, I felt like we were the outliers, and now I feel like those guys are kind of running the front of the icebreaker
Nice.
for us.
Nice. Plowing a path.
So, but I did actually read on some of their social media stuff that, they get people messaging in saying, oh, you guys got to clean it up and you're a poor representation, this and that. And I messaged them saying, dude, do not stop for 1
Yeah.
second.
You just
what
gotta
you're
look
doing.
at who you're targeting. You
Dude.
know what I mean?
They're hilarious. I mean, outside
It's
of
not a rated G podcast. It's an adult listen podcast.
outside
you
of
know?
a hunting podcast, and I think they are listed under comedy for their podcast. They're fucking funny. Like, I got a good appreciation for that wit and that sense of humor, and I feel like it's harder and harder to find, because that's what people say is like, oh my God, you can't talk like that and you can't say stuff like that. And I'm thinking, yeah, right, dude, don't change a single thing you guys are doing. You're being honest. And the whole reason I started saying that is because they had the guys from the Whitetail Experience on. And what's going on? Oh.
All right.
Hey, buddy, you going to bed?
Passing out hugs?
Come here. What do you say to these guys? Huh?
Oh, there you are.
Hey, don't grab
Sneaky
that.
little fella.
You gotta go to bed. I love you. Give me a kiss. Say big buck. Say helicopter. Love you. Night.
Good night, Gunner.
Go to bed.
See you, big guy.
See you in the morning, okay? Thanks, babe. Love you.
Podcast crashers.
Yeah, no kidding. They were standing over there in the corner of the garage. I'm like, what the fuck's
I was waiting for him to come over. All of a sudden, I heard a voice, and I popped up right over there.
Yeah, I was like, what do I do? I don't know. Pause it. What's going on? They had the guys from
Good thing
Whitetail
we were cleaning
Experience
up our
on.
mouth a little bit there for
Yeah.
a second.
They were talking about public land and having to work around all the other guys that hunt public land, and because these guys are kind of, I'm trying to think of what the term for it is. I mean, and we're kind of the exact same thing, like in-fault disciples.
Yeah.
They're,
Oh, is that what they call us?
I'm thinking that there might be like a group for a hashtag in-fault disciples.
Danny. No, I mean, that guy is
So they
genius.
started asking about how do you work around the other traffic, and there's a lot of guys out there that aren't doing what you're doing, and they're like, yeah, we got a name for those guys, and we call them Dickie Mo's. Dickie Mo's. And so I was very
Dickie Mo's.
I was very concerned about how they spelled it, and I don't want to spell it. I want to make sure I get this right for everybody because I see this.
Where's
thing.
that come from?
I have no idea.
I believe they
They coined it, huh?
they created it and coined it, and I just got such a kick out of it because like it's so perfect, right?
You're talking about the average hunter that walks out and
100
sits on
yards,
a 5-gallon
ladder-
bucket, lights up a
no.
Marlboro Light.
Double ladder stand
Double
for
ladders.
one guy.
Right.
May or may not have a crossbow.
Brings out a crave sack with him, maybe. That's actually a pretty good idea.
Dickie Mo. DICKEYMOE.
EY is where you messed up. You did IE.
Yeah,
man.
but that's why I checked it here on my phone. Dickie Mo. So, and I just told him, I was like, dude, that is just gold. Like,
Dickie Mo's.
he's like, you know who they are. I'm like, know who they are. I'm like, I'm
I
from
used
Michigan.
to be one of them.
Yeah, that's what I wrote. I said, hi, my name's Kevin, and I used to be a Dickie Mo. And I was like, dude, I live here in Michigan. We have the highest concentration of Dickie Mo's in the entire country.
I would have to probably agree with that.
And
There's a lot in Ohio, though, too.
There are a lot.
And
of
he said, that's okay. We're all Dickie Mo's before we evolve, you know?
Absolutely.
And I was thinking there's probably a scale for evolving out of a Dickie Mo. Like,
shed your foreskin and grow
is
out of
it kind of like the evolution thing?
there almost needs to be a chart. Like, I was
A
just
guy
thinking
dragging
about,
a
like,
double ladder stand.
the level of Dickie Mo-ness. You know,
From 1 to 10?
there's guys that do get deer. They're kind of still Dickie Mo's.
People get lucky in the woods all the time.
But then
You know what I
there's
mean?
like Steve last year. Do you have a ladder stand strapped to his back and carried a
His crossbow.
50-pound
bag of carrots
Yep.
and his crossbow.
Yeah.
all together in one trip? Walked out, set it up, hunted. Was he irritated that he didn't see deer, or
Yeah, he was a little down, but
was it pouring rain too?
we were in a building with a
That
fire,
takes some dedication, man. Now, he humped it.
and he's standing outside in a raincoat putting together his ladder stand when there was all kinds of room in the building to put the thing together. A well-lit building with a hot fire going. He's standing in 35-degree, just pissing down rain. It's like,
Steve.
what? He's durable. I'll give him that.
Steve.
I never saw anybody hike out to hunt with a ladder stand on the
Strapped to
back.
their back like they're mobile. This is
Just
my
like
mobile
a-
setup.
Lone wolf ladder stand and a bag of carrots, a big bag of carrots from the gas station. You know,
They're just going to sniff that right out when he sits that one time.
that was pretty funny.
He's resilient.
I do like that guy. He's very entertaining.
So yeah, man, 1 year of podcasting behind us.
It's been a cool ride,
Yeah,
I'd
we
say.
somewhat, I think, efficiently executed.
Good. That's hey, write that down.
Pretty much
Didn't-
sums it up.
Didn't execute that word very properly.
No, that's pretty good. I think he executed it quite well.
We executed a good year of deer hunting, deer hunting podcast.
There's just been a
Podcasting
lot
in
of
general.
people that we've come in contact in the last year. It's been pretty
Oh, it's been
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah, a
Social
lot
media.
of guys.
We brought Bomarito into and back out of social media. And
Is he out of it now?
I think he's out of it.
He's dipped out.
Yeah. I
Just-
know.
He had such solid content too.
He's too sensitive for it.
Think so?
Some
has to
people
give in
just
and
don't
give
have
out.
sensitive
control.
soul. I just love that guy though.
No control.
Does he want to? Is he boycotting podcasts as well?
I think he's just got other things going on this time of year.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be back.
Good. He's definitely a comedic value.
Yeah.
The guy comes up with some off the wall
But he
stuff.
seemed tonight like he just had some other stuff going on. So I was like,
I got some laundry.
yeah. And I figured the three of us would just tear up some Black Velvet. And
I couldn't miss it. I mean, I have a lot of stuff going on too, and I just wanted to cut the lawn really and go to bed. But it's been so long since we all got together.
that's
and,
really what you wanted to do in your heart's desire.
not really,
Right.
but a little bit. I'm so behind on everything, just with work and. I mean, it's hard to get ahead or even caught up to anything anymore. It's
I was
just
excited to come sit in.
I know you're told it like all the time when you're little, but like it doesn't really come to fruition until you get, I think, until like you're 30s or when you have family or kids of how much percentage of time is spent doing shit you don't want to fucking do.
Oh my gosh.
Versus the percentage of time spent where you're like, oh, this is so nice to be able to do this.
I had to cut back a little bit on my social media intake.
I did too.
Instagram, because I see so many people doing a lot of fun things that I wish I could do, and I can't. I'm like, wish I could go out fishing all the time. I was able to hit it hard for maybe about a week and a half. And
I ran out of cards to play at the house after like 3 trips out fishing.
Oh yeah,
Like,
you
I'm
bought
gonna
every
go
Hallmark
fishing,
card.
and my wife just, there's still fish in the freezer. You don't need to go fishing. It's like,
Oh,
man.
And I wish I could have done some more scouting, but I got some good solid scouting in this year. Not as much as last year, but it was more quality because of the education I've picked up over this last year.
Slosser brought me over a big ass thing of walleye.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Yeah. Thanks, Alex.
Yeah.
That
Thanks.
guy's got a solid last name. The
Thanks,
Slosser.
Alex.
Slosser.
Slosser.
I met up with him a month ago or something. Had a couple beers with him. We were up working in his neck of the woods, so he met us at a bar and had a couple brews and lunch one day.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Gay bar or straight bar?
I don't know. I could have gone either way. Play your
Depends on
cards
the
right.
company you're with. He's Northern Michigan?
Yeah, it's Thumb.
I haven't seen that guy in a while. He's pretty awesome. He was one of the first guys I heard about saddle hunting from.
Do you think we have any homosexual listeners?
I hope so. That's a big market these
We
days.
might have one curler from Chicago after the Infault Scout.
Oh,
That is
God.
right. We might have a curler from Chicago listening who's very disappointed about the ratio of straight men and women.
I'd love to see some more homosexuals in the outdoor community. They're
Probably have more stylish tree stands.
my
and
best
stuff.
customers.
Camo would be way more slim fitting.
They execute things like I just being in residential service, I go in everyone's home.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
So, and my office is in Ferndale, Michigan. So
That's like the gay capital of Michigan.
pretty much.
Fashionable Ferndale.
So, I have a lot of couples that are
Of the same sex variety.
of the same sex variety, and man, their houses are always so nice and they're always so polite, and they typically want to do things right and don't typically complain about cost. It's
I've noticed that they're typically not slobs either, if that's stereotyping them, but it's a good stereotype.
I'm sure there's the outliers, right?
Oh, yeah.
There's gotta be.
I would assume so, but
Couple
are we
big
going to go
old
down that
dudes
road?
just-
Are we going to go down that road?
KFC living in a trailer.
I sure do love you, Bob. Well, you know how that all goes.
Oh,
But yeah,
Too
there's
many
there should be all sorts of people
Greasy
hunting.
hand jokes flying through my head.
want the last piece of chicken? It's a game, like the popcorn bucket
The
game.
hole in the bottom of the chicken bucket.
We're getting off in a dangerous direction.
Ooh, what's that drumstick?
Oh my gosh.
All right, I'm done.
Yeah. No, it's perfect, man. I'm in need of that shit. It's been a rough couple months. Seriously. I was so excited you guys were going to come over tonight and just have some drinks and fucking talk.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
It's
I don't
been-
even know if I did even mention on one of the podcasts. I think I did that I got another kid on the way.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
last one we were on here, you talked about.
Yeah,
I think that was right when I was telling
That was
everybody.
with Bob. Bert? Officer Bert?
Was
Yeah,
it? Did I say
I
that?
might have been with
Officer Bob.
Ben.
Ben. Yeah. Bert. Whatever.
Generic B name.
Yeah. No. That was a great episode. But
Bronson.
she's only like less than 3 months away now. It's
No
crazy.
Wow.
I didn't know you were having a girl. You never told me that.
Oh, I didn't know either because we never
Surprise.
found out.
Oh, that's right.
Why did
don't
you
know?
just say her then?
What's that?
You just said her.
Oh, I was talking about Chrissy. She's
Oh,
Yeah,
all
she's
Oh,
right.
getting
you
pretty
don't know
close.
if you're having a boy or a girl?
no. It's going to be a
Still?
surprise this time.
Surprise.
We got a boy and a girl. So
The way you worded that, you confused me.
You could let it
I'm
choose.
sorry.
You don't even have to.
yeah,
Right,
maybe
I
it's
mean-
going to be cisgender.
Maybe it's going to be non-binary.
That's weird.
Things
But,
have gotten
probably not. I'm guessing.
things have gotten super weird lately.
Not in my neck of the woods.
No, it
pretty
seems pretty
traditional.
self-explanatory. It's like, yep.
Yeah. Thing
Can't-
sticks out. You're.
I don't
you're all
know.
set.
I don't know. So confusing. What?
Well, let's go look at Opie. Let's see what he looks like.
See that squirrel in the tree?
Yeah. Can Opie have babies? No? Okay. We got that figured out.
Fuck's sake.
It's
Yeah.
a crazy world. The lines have been blurred pretty
The lines have been blurred.
for people.
I appreciate a fair bit of that, like a lot of it.
blurry lines.
Yeah. Like I like people, kind of raging against the machine. But there is a fucking line to be drawn. Like there's some things that you don't have to fuck with and that are pretty self-explanatory and kind of no-brainers, I
Right.
guess.
Can't get pulled over like.
But the people that are on the
not beer.
complete opposite end of that are just like, no, there's not. We can do whatever we want. We can say whatever we want.
I've always said I don't give a shit what people do, but don't yell at me over pronouns, because I don't really care about that at all. I'm not going
Now using words that I don't understand.
to... Right.
I know pro guns. Is
Is
that like
ni-
pronouns?
Yeah.
Non-binary a pronoun? Or it's
Yeah,
an adjective?
like him, her, stuff like that.
Gotcha. I get it. I'm with you. Pronouns. Interesting.
So you don't know what you're having.
No, we don't. And it's pretty cool.
3 kids, you'll have a little more extra time on your hand.
I'm thinking so. I should be able to get out in the woods more this year. And should work out pretty good for my hunting
Yeah, it
moving
sounds
forward.
like it.
Probably should try to have
When's
more.
the baby due? September?
No, August.
August.
So, yeah. At least, I had one hunting season baby. Probably getting right into the prime of my bow hunting, October 28th.
That's the one
daughter.
that
Yeah,
screwed
I
up
don't-
going to Ohio.
I do not know why I did that, but I did.
I have a strict rule in my house that when we're talking about having kids, I go and rut when the deer do.
Well, that's
To
what I
avoid
worked this last
hunting
time.
season
Christina was severely agitated with me when I told her, like, I'm cutting you off at a certain point. And, well, I snuck one right before the buzzer, I guess.
Fucking closer like LeBron.
The buzzer beater.
Talking about practice? No.
It's it ain't even a real game. Talking about practice.
Oh, man.
Buzzer beater. That's
So,
funny.
That's exciting stuff.
Well, I got a whole list of things to cover here this evening. And so what, you got to work in the morning?
Oh, yeah.
What time?
I got to be there at 7, so not too bad.
I'm about to Uber home tonight.
You could sleep in your saddle in the tree in my yard.
I do have my hammock in the truck, though, too.
I bought a hammock.
Nice.
I just pulled it out today for the first
Those
time.
double eagle deals, or?
It doesn't have any cords with it. You gotta,
I use
Yeah, you
paracord
gotta buy 'em.
550.
yeah.
And I tie it in a certain manner that's easy to untie again.
I got some webbing, like a 1-inch webbing.
That's
I got
fancy.
that thing at Meyer on sale, like
What thing?
in the fall. That they're hanging right there next to the fire extinguisher, on the back wall here.
Mm-hmm. I see it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Cryptex.
Cryptech. Have you ever been on their website and looked at all their gear?
Mm-mm.
They have some nice stuff.
Yeah, I've seen it. They've been around for a while. I just never really.
They have, I think it's called Inferno.
Mm.
They have their stuff in orange, and it's an orange and black camo. And they have vests and hats and shit.
It's pretty
I'm
neat. So if you're gonna go
definitely-
orange, then why not go that
Well,
way?
for rifle,
Yeah.
I've needed some orange pieces for the last couple of years, and I'd love to have something that has a bit of a breakup or a pattern at least. Dude, it looks sweet. Like their orange camo, I think it's called Inferno, looks fucking badass.
Yeah, I typically don't. The orange isn't very fashionable normally.
Yeah, I typically just wear a hat
Yeah,
when I rifle hunt,
right.
either a beanie or a ball cap.
Mm-hmm.
360
it's like
degrees
1
orange.
square foot of orange, right? 360
It's
degrees.
orange.
It's not. I don't think it's a square footage. I think it's just visible 360 degrees.
I thought there was some surface area to it because
Well,
you
last
could
time,
just tie a orange string around you, and be
But
like
it has to-
360 degrees.
right? I think it would have to be like because then you'd be blocked if it's around one arm.
It has to be visible.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like if you're to wear an orange belt.
Right.
Well,
Say-
that would be a good question that we should.
We'd have Ben
No, no.
back on. He's already said that he'd come on out, or Officer Bob.
Yeah, or we could just message in or make a phone call to the DNR and actually get the answer to that question. well, I don't know. We just sit and fucking Perfect. We're a bunch of Dickie Mo's fucking sitting around here arguing
Well,
about.
how much
I'm gonna
orange
get
do
some
I
orange
need?
yarn. I think this next year.
No, my pa told me.
All I need is a bandana.
I think this
Well, if
bag
your
of
pa
carrots will
told
be
you-
orange enough.
If
to
your
carry
pa
on.
told you, then it's true.
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, I
Could probably fucking Google it right now.
Yeah.
And know in 2
I know
seconds.
that for a fact when I got called down from a tree because my orange hoodie was not up anymore, because that's the way I walked out with just an orange hoodie, and the officer was completely fine if I still had the hoodie up. And
Right.
that was the only orange I had on me, so that would have been like kind of like a hat, but a little bit more, I guess. So
He was happy with an orange hood.
just the orange hood. I had like an orange hoodie with a camel jacket over it, and that's all I was wearing was that orange hood walking out.
Yeah,
and
well,
when
I
I
mean,
sat, I dropped it because it was getting warm, not even thinking.
Guys that are listening are probably just furious right now that we don't know. I'm sure they could just message.
We're
in
just a
and-
bunch of idiots like the rest of them.
Hey, I got some
butthole.
exciting news.
Let's hear it.
You really think we're just a bunch of idiots?
Well, we're getting better.
Yeah, I think we like to dip and dive into that realm because it's a fun realm to.
It's good to talk about stuff you know, but you know,
It's-
sometimes I like to talk about stuff I don't know a little bit, you know, and
I think
try to learn something.
some of the funnest times of my life were spent kind of being an idiot.
I'd say so.
It's never like, yeah, and we were being so super professional
And
and it was
smart.
so fun.
You should have seen how smart we were. It was awesome. We had such a smart
I
time.
talked so
Everything
good.
was so efficient. Went so smooth.
Do you remember at the Ted Nugent concert when
Mm.
some guy drove a Prius there and what was that conversation?
Which concert was it? When the storm before that bike trip, that storm came through his concert, or it was a different
It
one?
was long. It
Different
was
one.
before.
It was Phil
that.
was there. He was just
Phil drove his Ram,
yeah.
and he just randomly start yelling at some people that
yeah.
drove a Prius to a Ted
I
Nugent
just remember him
concert.
going, "Oh, great, a fucking Prius at a Ted Nugent concert." Just losing his shit. Phil gets pretty entertaining when he gets a little sauced up.
Dude, I was thought about that yesterday, and I couldn't stop laughing. A bunch of assholes.
That wasn't the same concert as the beer.
We've
for a
really
Fat Girl.
evolved. Like
that?
the whole thing, one of the taglines in the podcast is to evolve.
Yeah,
We've
yeah.
really
I would
evolved.
say so.
Geez, in the last 10 years, our evolution, I mean, we were just little fuzzy caterpillars.
I would have to say so.
Yeah, and I think we're pretty good looking butterflies at this point.
We're not Dickamos anymore. Dickymos.
Dickamos. At Whitetail Experience.
Right.
We can't we gotta credit those guys almost every
time we say
use
it,
that.
I can't.
Yeah,
do
because
that,
I
though.
can't have people listen to this podcast thinking that that's our thing because it's so good.
All
Yeah.
right, we'll think of something else then.
I don't know.
I can't
though.
hashtag them every time I say it.
Dicky Mo.
I can't
It's
remember
perfect.
to do a lot of things that are vital for my everyday existence, and I'm gonna have to do that.
The guys at Blue Collar Clothing don't like Dickies clothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those guys gotta watch. They were talking about hipsters. Little known fact that out
Hipsters
west,
love Carhartt.
Carhartt is hipster as it gets.
Oh wow.
They love their Carhartt. The hipsters out there in like Montana and shit.
Well, I mean, no doubt it's some quality clothing.
Right.
I didn't know that. I do
I
know
know.
that.
I was listening to it was one of the trad archery podcasts. They had that guy from RER, Boas, out there. That
Okay.
Bower.
Yeah.
He was talking about
Bower. Is it
Bower?
Boyer.
Boyer.
I don't know.
We'll call them Bowers. So I
Whatever.
hear you Bower a little bit.
Let me get some more black velvet in here.
It's a nice cup at least.
Mm.
That is a
Yeah, I
nice
got
cup.
that at Blue Collar.
That's fucking
You know, and the
last
sound it
weekend.
makes when the ice bounces off the
Yeah.
inside of it, it's got a very distinct sound.
The Stanley, though, not a Yeti.
I'm drinking out of my wife's Tiffany blue Yeti.
Nice.
I didn't want to go all rogue with my big Yeti
Like
cup
this?
with black velvet in it. So I took my wife's
You don't have to fill it all the way up.
petite Tiffany's Yeti.
Pewter. Pewter blue.
Ground me.
Periwinkle. Periwinkle
Ground
blue.
That is a nice periwinkle color.
Yeah, I was a little taken back too because Detroit, you just think Carhartt work clothes, but turns out it's hip.
Trendy, huh?
It's hip out there.
No shit.
Well, I mean, I don't really have too much against hipsters. Really?
No, but they were just talking a lot of shit about it and how hipsters wear blah blah blah, and they're like, we wear Carhartts. It's like, well, fucking hipsters
I
wear
don't think
Carhartts. on there.
hipsters wear Dickies a lot.
You know what hipsters fucking do wear? Filson.
Yeah.
Filson's some quality. That's expensive stuff.
listen
Do they
to
have a lot of
this.
money as being a hipster? Maybe I'll be.
So we went to the
Mason or
BHA thing,
something.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And I made the comment to you. This is an interesting dynamic for a sportsman's event that it's all there's a bunch of skinny jeans.
Oh, there
here.
was a lot of skinny.
And I never
jeans.
saw that at like a hunting gathering before. And
We're outnumbered, I think.
and the Filson thing
Mm-hmm.
I think is part of a little
I don't
hipster.
even know what Filson is.
Yeah, well, Bomber was fucking breathing fire when I had this conversation with him. He's like, "Do you fucking know what Filson is?" And I'm like,
Like Filson's a really.
"You know
old
when
company.
Bomber gets mad, how it's kind of like
The cat's out
the guy
bag.
that never gets mad, but when he does get mad, you're like, oh shit, like fucking keep your distance or you'll
Right.
get torched, you know, like
Right.
getting too close to a real hot fire."
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, Filson made pioneering gear for the guys that like the Western explorers, and he knew the whole history of it, but they were making mountaineering stuff and helping people go to farther distances than people had ever
Expedition
gone
gear,
before.
yeah.
They
And
make
now-
their pants skinnier than pants have ever been skinnied before.
And they're pioneering that space.
Yeah.
I hope
By
Nick doesn't
restricting
listen
it.
to this. He's gonna call you
But
up.
Bomber pulls his hat off, and I never even noticed. But his hat it's got so much grease on it and everything, you can't even read what it says. But it's a Filson hat,
Huh.
and the brim's all exposed plastic and everything. Like he's had the hat for
Oh, yeah.
30 years or something.
Since
you
he
know?
was a little baby.
So yeah, dude, he was mightily offended that I didn't know what Filson was. And
That you just put it into like a
B that
trend.
I was like this trendy like hipster clothing place down in Detroit. About bit my head off. Clean
Wow.
off.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll have to remember to take little jabs at that then. I have no idea. I had no idea what Filson was.
You gotta know it bothers your buddies.
Oh, you have to. It's all part of the game.
It's
Poke
kind
the
of
bear, man.
it made me realize though, and it's a cool thing. I mean, and I sat there and poked fun at it all night. It was fun to make fun of the guys wearing skinny jeans. But
Right. There's
I'm
some really
glad
cool guys.
the guys with the skinny jeans are fucking showing up
Oh, yeah.
at things like for, that props
Public
to
lands, yeah.
BHA. And I know we've talked a lot about BHA on this show, and, I sometimes it come off maybe as fanboys, but shit, you got a Backcountry Hunters hat on. You got a Backcountry Hunters and Anglers t-shirt on.
My underwear too. That was custom.
It's cool. They're doing what needs to be done. They're bringing more people in. They're reaching different demographics. They're making a different message. They're making the message good.
I like their main focus.
They
Yeah.
keep you informed about shit that you otherwise wouldn't be informed about. For the most part, right?
Oh, for sure.
I'd say so. Yeah.
Do you think we could get BHA to make some custom Deer Hunter podcast underwear where the waistband says designated wilderness area?
only if they're maybe a thong style. Thong style,
Designated
maybe.
wilderness area.
The banana hammock edition. Designated wilderness
Yeah,
area.
I think it'd be great.
Open season.
Yeah, I might put a little sign on the front that says private land.
I
though.
want everybody to know that the Black Velvet Fest was not my idea. I was forced to
Right.
go
Keep your
down
hands
this
off my
road.
private land.
Don't touch my backcountry.
You'd have the sign on the back that says public.
Backcountry Explorer.
Public access. There we go. There we go.
Oh, shit, great.
We've gotten there, guys.
Public access. Think they'd make them out of merino
Oh, I don't know.
You'd
so they
have to.
smell good?
Oh.
You'd have to.
They'll run that one past Meekoff
Yeah.
this week. It's a sure
Public
winner.
access and private land. Just have that boundary.
Where do you draw the line? Draw your own line.
Okay.
Sorry.
Hashtag Jason Meekoff.
Hashtag Black Velvet Fest.
Oh man,
Meeks.
that's good stuff.
Meeks test.
He's pretty busy these days.
Yeah, well, what's going on this weekend right now is the Total Archery Challenge.
Yeah. Up
in
And
Boyne?
man, I feel, I didn't even think about it. I knew it was coming up, but it was just
I wanted
like,
to go bad.
yeah, you know what? Every person that's not here in this garage podcasting right now that likes,
What was that?
I don't know, weird feedback, but I think it's gone. That likes bow hunting is at the Total Archery Challenge.
yeah.
Right. I mean, I had a couple invites that I can crash with them in their condo for free if I wanted to come up there, and
Was that the same people from the curling thing?
it might have been. But hey, I like a good time. But yeah, I mean, I
No boundary line here.
I really wanted to go check it out. I don't know if it'd be somewhat like the Reinhardt shoot, like there's a lot of 3D targets, like a ton
It
of
looked
3D targets.
it looked really cool.
There's several different courses.
There was people
Nice.
driving from Wisconsin through the UP last night
Nice.
coming here.
It would
for
be
that
pretty cool
today.
up there at Boyne Highlands.
So I had an
Was it
interesting
Highlands?
phone conversation yesterday with Matt Grace, the owner of G5.
Oh, really?
Talked with him on the phone
Cool.
yesterday evening. Met him at a Backcountry Hunters and Anglers
Pint night.
pint meetup
Right, when I was down scouting Ohio.
a few months back locally, and we exchanged phone numbers. And super nice guy, real down to earth guy. His family started that business decades ago.
Didn't they start making limbs for somebody else?
So they do a lot of stuff there.
Right.
And I think their main thing, obviously G5, from my understanding of it, is just a brand that they house under their company that does machining.
Right.
And their primary source of income is medical stuff.
Really? Well,
I believe.
well, we know the medical industry, man. That's a big dollar industry, and way more even than deer
And-
hunting.
You know,
To believe that, that's
Yeah.
crazy. But
Right.
yeah, insane.
So, I talked to him last night, and they were going to be there today.
No, nice.
The reason I talked to him is because
Well, I think like Hoyt and all those. I mean, it's a big deal, that Total Archery.
I guess
Challenge.
so.
It's
Because
in-
dozens of people messaged in asking if we were going, and I was like,
I
Shit.
wish.
Maybe when we go to things, one or two people might ask if we're going, but literally dozens of
Right.
people, and I was just like, geez, that was a fuck up. Like, I guess this must be. And I saw videos today. It does look cool.
yeah.
I just right now. I mean, it was. Just,
Oh, there's
it
no
wasn't
way.
gonna happen.
It's just
No
one,
way.
at this time of year, shit sneaks up on me for sure. I'm just not. Like, I can't believe it's June already. It's
Right.
fucking
I
with
think
me
we
a
might
little
just
bit.
have way too many responsibilities outside of deer hunting. We need to cut back on some things.
Yeah.
Dude, I wasn't even. I mean, I kind of cut back on everything else. I'm like, work, wife and kid, and deer hunting. That's basically
mainly
been
what-
it, and I can't balance that.
Right. I mean, I try to get out fishing a little bit because I bought a boat like 3 years ago.
I wiped
but,
that shit clean, like
I-
this year, but I still just couldn't even get that stuff done. And then to have the little things going wrong week to week, and
Oh yeah, fires
This
to
and
put
that.
out here and there. I mean, I barely this year scouting wise, I had less than last year, less time.
I haven't even really gone at all. Just
I know.
last weekend I did when we were out helping Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. Walked around and scouted some spots, but
I want to talk
Anything
about scouting a little bit.
Let's do it. Okay.
Well, before I forget, the reason that I talked to Matt Grace yesterday is because when we had talked originally at the event, their manufacturing facilities 15 minutes from here.
yeah,
Mhm.
20 minutes.
Oh
15.
yeah.
G5 is a local,
That's why probably
As
the next bow I
local-
buy compound
as local of a company as
you can get.
we could get here.
Huh.
So I think one or two of the G5 representatives are going to come over here to do the podcast with us
That'll be
nice.
awesome.
here in the next couple weeks.
Oh yeah, that'd
Yeah.
be great.
We'll get to pick their brain clean about archery, hunting industry, like bow building in
Oh yeah.
depth. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. Cause that'll be my next bow. I was thinking about doing it this year, but I'm getting into the trad thing this year, so next year might be my year to get another compound bow.
Yeah.
I got a deep sliver in my finger. Just found that. It's been bothering me. Anybody got a knife?
No, I agree.
Can't believe I don't.
Agree with
We need
that.
to talk to that
Man,
Osborne Knives, man.
what did you guys think? Did you get to check that out? All put together?
Shannon's? Yeah, I didn't look at yours.
I put it together.
I know, but did you see it?
No, it's slick, man. So she's gonna make it out, and she's gonna give her a whirl, huh?
She shoots good.
I imagine she would. She
Why?
shot good last time. Like years ago, she shot good.
I think it's a testament to the new bows. Like, she hasn't shot in a year. And she picked that thing up, and I had her at 30 yards, hitting probably 6-inch, 8-inch groups.
It's pretty impressive. It is a slick little bow, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Parker, right?
Mm-hmm.
GR30.
Where are they made?
I believe
It
they're...
was like Virginia or
yeah, I
Kentucky or
want to say
something.
Virginia. I know they're... Is that East Coast? What
Well,
do you,
East Side.
do people in Virginia say I'm East Coast?
Is it
person?
touching? I don't think it's touching the coast, Virginia.
Why you guys look at me like I know geography?
Well, it's not Midwest.
No, it's over by South Carolina, North Carolina.
So are they from down south?
It's like
There,
Middle Eastern.
would it be at,
Middle Eastern.
We did it. There we
Oh,
go.
damn
First one. No, but they're. I mean, they're close to the coast. They're on the East Coast.
Bow
They're-
building terrorists.
would it be at like the Appalachian, like the
they're-
foothills or something?
Maybe the foothills, but that might be pushing it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
You
You got
guys-
Virginia, West
Why
Virginia.
are we even going down this road? Right
I don't
now?
know. Let's talk geography. Why not? But that's where they're from.
So we got some new bows in here from the Middle East.
Pretty nice. They've probably taken a few goats in their
Can
day.
The draw weight says Allah Allah Akbar.
No, it's nice though.
Yeah, I'm excited to get mine.
Those
set up.
arrows are so short and cute though. That's one thing I noticed.
Yeah.
They are
Yeah.
adorable.
So
They look
those
like
arrows,
crossbow bolts.
those
They do.
arrows are not replaceable. They are probably 15 years old. They're the original Easton ACC aluminum carbon composite.
Oh wow.
So it's an aluminum shaft wrapped in carbon.
Mhm.
They're super light. They're super strong.
She could stump shoot with that thing practically.
It's a 390 spine, and I need to get a grain scale. So I
I was hoping we can get Hoovers over here. I want to weigh all my arrows and see where I'm at.
So I had I've been trying to figure out what to do for that bow for the proper arrow build, because a lot of guys are going to say low feet per second. You're going to need a pretty heavy arrow to have the energy to get through,
A lot of guys.
to be an arrow.
No,
I was trying to
just wondering
refrain
why-
from using the word penetration.
Right, and a
But-
lot of guys in the same sentence.
Yes, exactly.
I don't know how else you could ever say the words without them being in the same sentence.
Honestly, so obviously at a 40-pound draw weight, you do need a heavier arrow, right? I mean, at a 40-pound draw weight, would you shoot a mechanical?
I wouldn't think you really need a heavier arrow as much as maybe a little heavier tip up front.
Your
that-
FOC.
that's a
FOC.
heavier arrow.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be a heavier arrow.
Yeah,
you
you're
could
not.
have a
It
light arrow
doesn't
with
have
a,
to
with
be
a heavy
like
FOC.
super heavy grains per inch.
Right.
You could shoot a.
Yeah, when you say
400.
heavy arrow, I'm thinking
I agree
GPI.
with that. There's
Right.
multiple ways to get a heavy arrow, right?
Right.
You could have a light arrow with a bunch of FOC, or you could just have a genuine heavy arrow.
Mhm.
Right. When you were saying that, I thought you meant like a bare shaft with a high grain per inch. Like when you were saying heavy.
Well, what I was getting at
you want
is
it less.
how sweet of a setup I think that's going to be, because that's essentially a 400 spine. It's a 390,
Yeah.
but it's short.
Oh,
So it's
yeah.
got a lot of
It's
rigidity.
stiff. Oh, yeah.
And at 40 pounds, with one of those, for the lower weight, I think it's smart to have a 2-blade broadhead.
Yeah, definitely. Single
So-
bevel, 2 blade.
That 200 grain bone
Bone.
Yeah.
on there.
Try both of them. See what
Give
one
him the
flies better.
bone.
Well, so I didn't want it to be. I want it to be right, and I just don't know. Like, so I've asked a few different people, and Greg Litzinger kind of said, what did he say? Around 480, 460 grain, something of that
On
line
on a slow.
for a whitetail.
And they say anything over 450 is good for any North American big game.
Yeah.
450 grains per inch. Or per inch.
Total.
Arrow.
Total, yeah. I know I'm over that on, well over that on all mine.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's including like elk and like even sheep and stuff. You know,
Grizzly?
like,
Grizzly, no, I think Grizzly they recommend pretty heavy.
yeah, I guess maybe
that's
it might have stated like lower 48, you know, big
Mhm.
game, but
Didn't they open up a special grizzly hunt again out west or something? I thought
there's
I saw
a couple
that.
states that were having like 10
special
tags. One was
lottery.
having like one tag and
Right.
Aaron Snyder seems to know a lot about that shit. So I text
Well, that's
him.
his backyard. Yeah.
Yeah, I text him and asked him because he built a bow for his daughter and his
Right.
ex-wife, and I'm like, hey man, lower poundage bow, building a hunting arrow for my wife. I don't want to overdo it. I don't want to underdo it. I want it to be right. And he's like, call me. Too much to talk about over text, right? So I gave him all the details, length, that. He's like, holy shit. He's like, you got the old ACCs. He's like, they never should have fucking stopped building that arrow. He's like, I wish that they built those. I wish I could get those. And it's cool that I have a set of them. They're from Russ Grafton's old bow when Nick Dawson bought
Really?
Ruff's
Smoke?
old Hoyt Smoke
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
with the overdraw. Hence why the arrows are so short,
yeah.
but works out fine for
Oh, I
my
thought you
wife.
trimmed them. They were
No,
that was the
they were
length.
cut that short for a big
Oh.
overdraw on an old Hoyt split limb smoke bow.
Wow. I remember when Nick had that bow.
Yeah, and that bow was probably, what, 60, 70 pounds
Mm-hmm.
or something?
Loud as shit. They had aluminum limbs.
Did it?
Yeah.
So, but those are obviously super light and cut real short. So I was concerned about what needed to be done for them to be right. And Aaron said, I wouldn't worry about anything other than getting 460 to 480 grains.
Total
He goes, I
grains.
don't really care how you get it. If it's through the whole thing or you get it through FOC, whatever. He's like, don't really concern yourself about that. He's like,
Just
get
get
it
it.
to that and get it shooting straight. And
That's all you need.
yeah, so I'm thinking
How many pounds is she shooting right
the
now?
inserts are already in there,
Right.
so there's no really dicky mowing around. with
Well,
that.
no, you can add the inserts that it will extend the length of the arrow a little bit. I've seen the ones that it's not a
Like
you
an
know,
outsert almost?
it's not an
like,
outsert. It's like an insert. You know, you'd put that. I've seen them before.
I think I understand
It
what you're
just
talking
screws
about.
into the
It
insert.
screws in the insert, and it would be like a field tip. But then you've got another
It's
female thread on the end that you'd screw in.
Is it for adding FOC?
Adding FOC, right?
Nice.
So if you're not going to do the inside like on a gold tip or
Yeah, right.
Whatever,
I
I know
like
they got
that.
ones for the tail end of the arrow too.
Yeah, obviously those knocks are glued in and all that. There's no probably.
I wouldn't want to add weight to the end of that end of the arrow, anyways. I don't
I'm
know why you
hoping
would.
that it works out. We have both options, right? The 125 grain bone broadhead and the 200 grain bone
Or-
broadhead.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So whichever one of those flies the best out of there.
You might be able to heat up even. I've heard of you been able to heat up the end of the arrow slightly and get that glue to
Yeah.
I
liquefy
want to
again.
fuck around with that on a carbine.
Yeah. I don't know if I would either, but I mean,
I think
if you had a
I
junk
think
arrow to try it
we
on,
can go with
it's
the
I wouldn't
200s.
do it.
There's nothing there.
No.
It's weightless. It's crazy, right, for a 400 spine arrow. That's what Aaron said too. He's like, they never should have stopped making that arrow. It was the best arrow ever made, or something along those lines.
There's a little more weight there than I'd expect, though, for how small it is.
Really?
Oh,
I'd
it's
just
pretty
slap
light.
that 200 grain bone on there and see how it does.
That's what I'm thinking. It's got the bigger cutting diameter too, right?
Yeah.
That would make this thing crazy FOC. I mean, because you don't have this thing is
Which I would think. I guess it's a debate, right? Some guys love it, some guys hate it, but I rather have a real light arrow with a bunch of FOC than have all my weight in the arrow.
Yeah,
I mean, we've
We're
talked
not
about
gonna have
that.
all of it, but I mean, I think it's good to have some weight in the
I
arrow.
think it's going to be an awesome build.
I try to do like 20%.
in the arrow, and then
20%
The rest-
FOC, front and center.
oh yeah, some guys get crazy with that. I think I'm like 18 to 20 on my compound, but my recurve,
Sam
I'm
recurves
like
are a whole different animal.
yeah.
Sam
probably
Koviak.
100% FOC on that thing.
Yeah.
It's heavy. It's heavy.
Sam Kowiak is
Kowiak?
FOC freak.
I want to try to run into that guy up there in his neck of the woods. Guy is super awesome guy just to talk to.
Yeah, so I don't know. I've been having a semi-stiffy over these little arrows floating around in here. I'm shooting probably the 100 grain tooth of the arrows again, I think, this year.
100 grain.
Yeah.
I need to pick up a pack of
They
tooth of arrows.
The 175s, I have a set of those.
Mm-hmm.
If you'd like to try to shoot them.
I can
They're-
try.
What are you? You're not hunting with a compound this year? You're gonna hunt with both?
No, I think I'm gonna do both. I'm going back and forth on it, but that's my hugest dilemma this year is because I just love the recurve so much. I literally have pulled out my compound once, but I don't want to be the guy who said I'm not gonna touch my compound anymore because I've got my recurve. It's so much cooler, but it is cooler for me. It's been more fun to shoot, more enjoyable. There's so much sureness in that compound that I don't have as much experience yet. Maybe if I was like I hunted with my recurve for 4 or 5 years, I'm getting really fishing at it, then I would be like, I don't see a reason to touch it anymore. I'm enjoying it enough with my recurve. I don't know. I just can't say no yet. So I'm thinking I'll probably start my season off with the recurve and see where it goes from there. That's where I'm at right now.
That's a good way to do it, I think. There's not a lot of steak in the first part of the season.
I like steak.
They just
Deer steaks mostly.
turning around.
They do that in my driveway all day long.
Might be guest number 4.
Oh, is it?
I don't-
We've got another guest. Could you mix me up some Black Velvet Fest? It is celebratory. Yes, we do have another shower upper, maybe.
I haven't been checking my phone, but there was the potential to have a fourth guest tonight, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think that person's just
They're
turning
walking
around.
up now. And it's
Son
him.
of a bitch.
Get out of here.
Hell yeah, man.
Well, come on in.
Say when.
I honestly did not think you
Just
were going
make
to...
it respectable. Just make it respectable.
Say when.
I'm not even paying attention to this.
What's up, man? That's all right.
How you doing? I'm Ryan.
Kevin,
Nice to meet you, Kevin.
What's going on, man?
how you doing? What do you guys got going here, the Velvet?
Throw that headset on.
You need to get some velvet.
We'll
in
hook
ya.
you up. We'll tell you what's going
Got a
on.
chair. Do you want a bush light or a velvet?
Both.
All right. Where you been hiding this guy on me, Kevin?
Pull that microphone down there. There you go. What's up, man?
How you doing? How far are you guys in on this?
Oh, we're pretty deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Velvet bottle is about 40% down.
One of those guys that make that trail camera there, they got a hashtag, an event over the summer called Velvet Fest. Basically the kickoff
Get
to
it?
I did get it.
this next year's deer season. Deer are starting to grow horns and everybody's Ohio. And so we kind of morphed their hashtag into Black Velvet Fest here tonight. And this is like our 1-year anniversary episode.
Nice.
Yeah, we started this just about a year ago. You were one of the first guys on here.
Yeah.
One of my longest running,
Yeah, I think he
most
was on.
hardcore deer hunting friends I have.
You got another cup for some black velvet?
Yeah.
Don't short him. Don't short him, man.
Been watching my carbs all week. So it's like,
I got diet.
Little known fact, bourbon seems to help with keto.
yeah.
Yeah, we got a guy at work that's really into keto, and he actually like pisses on the strips and everything to measure his ketones. And when he drinks whiskey, his ketones go up the next day.
Nice.
Yeah, It's a little cheater there.
How was the drive over?
Like it always is. No fun.
3 hours.
Long.
How's your kids in the car?
They're pretty good, actually. Just jam the tunes and
How old
What
are your
kind
kids?
8, 6, and 10 months.
Oh wow, you did 3 too.
Yeah.
Ugh. I'm like on the cusp of that right now.
He's got a
3 girls.
Oh,
third
wow.
one coming. He's got a
August.
boy and a girl, and he doesn't know if the next one's a. We were
Yeah.
thinking it might be non-binary and make its own decision.
For now. All right.
So where are we at? What are you guys talking about?
Cheers,
What
man.
were we just talking
So
about?
glad you made it over
Yeah,
here.
I dropped the kids off and I made it over. I didn't know I was going to catch you guys still on the...
Oh, you know how we do things.
Yeah, we got
The late
started like an
nighters.
hour and a half late. So
I was doing some weird acrobatics on the tree earlier.
yeah, he got a saddle, the new saddle from
Arrow
Nutra?
Hunter,
Arrow
Kestrel.
Hunter?
That's the Kestrel model. It's pretty sweet,
I'd
man.
like to try one of those. I got those climbing spikes. I never really watched too many videos on the ring like that. I just use the Lone Wolf. But my brother-in-law gave me some climbing spikes, like for linemen or something. They're like brand new in a box. I don't know if anyone uses those or not. But
You can use them on private, but not public, I hear. Yeah,
that's weird.
I know.
Climber, but you can't use those.
I know.
Well, do
that's
they-
just
do
what
you-
I've heard.
do you
Now,
drive
that's another
'em?
I'm talking out of my
How do
butt
they
probably
work?
again.
They just
Stab
snap
into the
it.
tree.
Well, no, you put it on your boot and
Oh,
cinch it on your leg. And
so you're talking about like a lineman.
Turns into
they're
a
straight
squirrel.
lineman ones. It's like a cast aluminum J kind of
Mm-hmm.
in a belt basically. It goes around your calf. And
Right,
I
right.
haven't even they're still in the box. I haven't even used them.
Those aren't cheap either, I don't
No,
think.
they're
Yeah.
a few $100.
Right.
Are they illegal on public land? or-
What I've heard. Now I haven't confirmed it, but from what I've heard, they are. I mean, they'd be like for guys climbing poles and stuff like that. You know, they stab into the meat, the tree, and
That's a
basically
good point,
walk
though, with,
right up the tree.
I feel like
climber,
any
no
CO that
different.
even walked up on you would have so much respect for the fact that you're up there doing that. He wouldn't even write you a ticket.
If it is legal, that would be the way to go. You don't need any steps. You know what I mean? You just climb right up the tree and have a harness or a saddle with you, and I mean that lightens it up huge.
Your feet would probably get pretty goddamn sore standing in those
Guys
things.
working them all day.
Yeah.
Have you ever played with a saddle at all?
Never.
Kestrel? Arrow Hunter?
Arrow Hunter, Kestrel. Yep, that's the one they have out now. They're gonna have another one coming out soon.
They
Bobby
s-
Boswell.
They
is,
sent one into Ryan.
for us to try 'em
The
out.
For us
parent
to-
company is actually called New Tribe.
New
right?
Tribe.
New
Yeah, and they
Tribe.
make they're for tree trimmers and stuff like that.
Pull that thing out of there. Whoa, what about it?
Yeah, what about it?
So I'm gonna go right now. To be honest with you, I've never seen another person or a DNR officer on the public land I hunt. I don't ever run anyone.
It's crazy.
Not that I'm gonna go break the law with the.
Right.
Right. No, I know what you're saying.
Why don't you tell everybody
I've
what?
had 3 years. I didn't even think about. I've had them before I ever even heard of these saddle things.
Tell everybody where the public land is you hunt that has no pressure on it.
There's plant clover fields. The DNR around there are awesome.
Huh.
They do so much work out there, and there's a lot of deer. You just gotta figure them out. It's different than I'll hunt a couple miles down the road on private, and it's totally different, completely different animals than what they are out there.
Did you end up getting that buck you shot this year scored?
No,
You didn't?
no.
Not at
I
all?
scored it myself, but
What did it?
120s or something, low 120s.
It's a nice
That's
buck. It's a
awesome.
nice Michigan buck, man.
He was busted off a big
Yeah,
part of his
busted
rack
off,
too,
so
right?
Probably, maybe 7 inches busted off, something like
What, 8 point, 10,
that.
8?
Yeah.
Nice 8.
Yeah.
128s. It's nice.
It was a sweet, it was a rowdy looking buck.
Yeah.
Swamp monster.
Did you have him aged? I'm
What's
sorry.
that?
Was he aged, or what do you figure him at?
Oh yeah, we took them to DNR, aged them. They said
2.5?
3.5.
Oh, 3.5. Oh, wow. 3.5, 4.5?
I'd say 3.5 myself.
3.5 is a pretty mature public land buck around here.
Well, this wasn't a public. I wish I could say it was a public.
Right.
But it wasn't.
Nice.
You know, it was off off the in-laws swamp.
He
But
probably.
he probably walked on public at some point.
I was gonna say. Yeah, around
I've
there.
seen a lot. Last year's the first year I ever did that public land stuff. I got into that info, the beast tactics stuff, and
Yep.
I went out to that workshop. And last year was the first year I ever did that, and I seen a lot of nice bucks.
It was eye-opening for me. Last year was the first year I've ever done the majority of my hunting on public land,
And
I
mobile.
enjoyed it.
I
And
like
mobile.
it way more.
It-
I see a lot more deer.
You're
on
not.
the private-
You have
on the
when you hunt just private, you really have blinders. You're stuck, and if you've only got certain deer coming on that property, that's all you have. There's so much public around where your opportunities and your experience is just way better.
And you can be so invasive.
Right.
You can be so invasive.
You don't care. You don't care. If you mess up, then whatever. There's more public around.
I'm excited this year because last year was kind of like the kind of feeling it out. I did the preseason scouting and everything and spent a lot of time in the swamps, but and I got close to a lot of deer and I seen a lot of nice bucks, but I wasn't deep enough into it yet. I wasn't deep enough into it to really get it down. I got busted a few times. They're so much, they're so slick out there compared to the public land ones.
Or the private.
Or I'm sorry, yeah, the
Yeah,
private.
yeah. I mean, they're used to the human invasion, but I mean, a lot of guys think they're getting deep, but they're not getting deep.
That's what.
You know.
And now, you hear a lot of the stuff that you hear Infault and Mario talk about overlooked stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm seeing a lot of that.
Yeah.
A lot of that.
I think
Stuff that
that's
you're
the
not
new
gonna
thing now.
notice.
Is because a lot of people have all listened to the info. Blah blah blah. Everybody hears that half mile.
There's a ton of sign out there, but there's also a lot of pressure out there.
There's a
Like,
shitload of pressure.
There's a lot of people, but there's some cool areas out there.
Yeah, there is.
There's mature sign all over out there.
Right.
What surprised me, I was
Well,
really surprised with all the pressure. Out
All
there.
the deer within all the square miles of that area, that's where they go when it all starts happening.
Yeah.
Into the shit that
They're in and out of the private spots that don't get pressure, and the spots on the public that people really can't get into unless they got a snorkel
They're
and
that
flippers.
smart.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
know to go where people don't, and there's
Yeah.
spots there where people can't.
And they get old and die.
Yeah.
Pretty neat.
There's a giant deer in there.
I'd love to put a camera out there and check it out.
I got one.
Do you?
Yeah, he's just fucking unbelievable.
Well, I guess we can't say.
No,
it.
you can't
Yeah.
say that at
Off
all.
of that one road,
That one
by that
road.
other road,
Yeah.
and
You
there's
just
trees
beep
in
it
the
out.
swamp.
Can't you just beep it out when you?
Well, I could, but I mean, it's kind of. He'd be very effortlessly the county archery record
Wow.
by 20 inches.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. You never even mentioned that to me. You shy guy. You're such a shy guy.
I've mentioned it to you.
Not
I've
that,
shown
not
you.
not in that specific.
If you go scroll back through my Instagram feed, there's video clip of that deer.
on public.
Maybe. But that's where he lives.
Right. Right.
Spent all winter looking for his beds and his sheds, and
Hard. It's hard out there.
Uh-huh.
It is tough out there. That's a tough
He
piece of property to
travels.
hunt.
Plus,
I mean,
there's nowhere to hang anything. It's all that. What are they? What are those?
I don't think
called?
I hear you.
It's not.
Try to move
hear
your
me?
mic a little closer.
Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, I can
Now
hear
you
you
can
good. That's nice.
What are
Saucy.
those called? Phragmites.
Fragmites.
There's
no, you can't.
trails going into just nothing but Phragmites, and
They're 12 foot tall.
yeah.
I mean, they get
You'd
tall.
have to get creative out there. Really have
It's
to get
the
creative out in a lot of the
Deer
spots that
I
I
think
looked
you're
at.
talking about. I know where he beds. I found it last year. I'll
What's
tell
he
you
talking
guys
about?
when we stop the
Kevin's
podcast.
deer.
If it's the same
Are we all
one,
shooting it?
Well, he beds all out. I mean,
I know
wouldn't
where
say
one of
all
them are.
over.
Okay.
I know where there's a giant down the road from here. A giant.
I seen him maybe.
Mm,
Last
We'll talk about it when we're off the.
Let's do it.
There was a giant
Let's do it.
across the street from here
I
2 years
remember
ago,
that. That was a-
173 inches.
Was that the one that guy took?
Guy
Gun?
shot him with muzzle loader.
My uncle,
Yeah. Old man
hunt-
got him? Older guy?
Not that old. He's the owner of Motor City Electric.
Oh, okay.
He owns a bunch of
He
private lands around
guns.
here.
He got it with a gun, right?
Shot with a muzzle loader.
Yeah, man.
December 12th.
I remember that picture. He had a big smile on his face, that guy.
That was a giant deer. Tons of mass all the way through. 173 inch, like 10 point.
No, it's
Just a
nice. I
giant,
think I have
giant
him on
deer.
my phone.
Where the
He was outside my porch all summer long. I watched that deer through binoculars running with probably a 140.
Have you ever walked in that over there?
No.
That's
Very
private land.
mature. When I was a kid, I trespassed back there. When I was a kid, me and my buddies used to go
I think
back
you're safe now.
there. Yeah.
The guys
Statute
that
of
hunt over
limitations
there,
over.
they're real cool guys, and the actual landowner has said that I could hunt there.
And you don't?
But the guys that have hunted it for like 30 years they're like the kind of the core of my neighborhood, and
No.
they're awesome dudes. So I don't want to like.
Should be close to retirement though. Here, if it's been 30 years.
I thought about asking if I could go over there this spring and shoot a turkey because there was a bunch of toms gobbling out there.
I think a good way into it is ask them if you can, to let them know,
It's
hey,
not
I'll help you
even
set up
that.
tree stands and trim some shooting lanes, so when they get too old to hunt it, then
I think, and they've already alluded to they would let me go out there, but it's like, dude, that's their little spot. I don't really want to.
when I get an invitation,
Well,
I usually don't turn it down.
It's real mature back there.
Dude, they
Really
hang
mature.
a couple ladder stands every week of the season too. So they're not like doing
the
the property
bedding
any
area-
favor. They're a bunch of dicky mo's.
The bedding area is across the street from them. A lot of it.
Yeah.
My uncle used to hunt there for years.
And that strip?
Gosh, what's the road there? It goes over.
A baker.
No name road.
Yeah, No Name Road goes over 94 there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. We're talking
90 no name for.
Yeah,
No, 90, no,
94 is yeah. 94 goes all the way
95.
past me. You're all right.
I know.
94 and a half.
But it's all thick beds back there, and I
Right.
recovered a lot of deer back there that my uncle shot.
Yeah.
He had permission years ago to hunt back there, and there's a lot of nice bedding. Of course, it wasn't the aggressive bed style hunting. It was
More sit back
Pile-
and wait.
more of a pile of carrots and
Nice.
know.
That's like a Michigan way a little bit.
We were talking. I was
I
listening.
heard they're going to stop that.
Baiting?
No, I heard they're going to.
I have no problem with making baiting 100%.
There's
not.
rumors
the-
flying around.
I like it because it keeps the people off the stuff that we like to do. I let them do it as far as I'm
Right.
concerned.
Well, I think it does help you out because you'll hunt those trails on the way to some of the bait piles, and that's where you're going to kill them. You'll have a better chance of killing them on
Yeah.
their way there because they're not going to go there during daylight 90% of the time, unless during rut or a dumb deer makes a mistake.
Yeah. What's strange
or a
out
smart
by
deer
me,
makes a dumb
It's
mistake.
easy to find that and know how deer are gonna move around. That
I mean, no doubt it works, guys.
it's like, all right, I can eliminate hunting in this area.
that's how I was successful around here. Where I'm
Bait.
at now, you can't find bait. Nobody uses it. People look at you like, oh, that's cheating. You know, if you even bring it up, nobody does it out there on the west side. Nobody does it. There's nowhere to get it. No gas stations. There's no.
Where on the west side?
Around Kalamazoo,
Nice,
St.
No, no.
Joseph County.
nice, nice.
That's perfect.
Yeah,
A lot of good breweries out that way.
yeah.
We
Bell's
should
is right up the
we should
road.
go hunt over there. You got a spot for us to set up some pitch some
I
tents?
absolutely do.
All right.
You got to get a permit from the DNR. They open up a whole lot of spots over there where you can
Bring the
camp.
teepee. Let's teepee it out.
I definitely have spots for you guys to go if you want to go out there.
Absolutely.
Cool.
We got a pretty well established mobile hunting camp. It works real good. I got that. Have you seen that TP tent I got?
Is it like a wall tent, like
No.
a canvas,
It's like a fucking teepee.
like a military?
No.
No,
Style?
straight up teepee.
It's like
No, I
a
haven't seen
Tent
that.
nylon. It's just a nylon.
it's a nylon
teepee.
teepee, and it's what the headroom's 10 foot,
10 or 12.
Isn't it like Sportsman Guide?
and it's 16 foot across or something.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
We slept 4 guys in it in
Comfortably.
Ohio with all our gear and cots. No problem.
And
Cots.
I put a stove jack in it, and I got a propane 40,000 BTU propane stove. You can just turn it on. Me and him camped in it for deer season. It was 28 degrees, sleeting sideways, pissing rain, snow, sleet.
It sucked
it was-
outside.
The nastiest weather you could ever imagine. We were fucking just posted up in the teepee, sitting on our bunks, wool socks on, sitting crisscross applesauce, fucking eating dehydrated
Good
meals.
though. You were all good in there though.
Oh, we had to turn the heat down. I mean,
Wow.
That comfy.
Yeah,
and
it wasn't
and
bad
it
at
dries
all.
all your stuff right out. I mean, dude, it's ultimate. You can go, and you don't need a trailer, none of that shit. You just throw it right in the back of your truck. A 20-pounder of propane, we ran it for like 2 days straight, and it was like 3/4 of the way gone. We ran the heater through the night. We had
nice.
cots with good sleeping bags and everything. We just ran the heater on the lowest setting, so it probably was like 50.
A stiff wind would have fucked their shit up, though. That TP is not made to take a
Withstand.
wind at all.
I've made some improvements with the stakes and the center pole and whatnot, and I can make it. It's not it won't be bulletproof. Like real bad weather, you'd have a problem. But I bet you it would stand like 20, 25 mile an hour. But anything heavier than that, if you're gonna have like nasty winds,
I've been looking. I always keep an eye on Craigslist for those scamp campers. You ever see those?
Sure.
Scampers.
We saw
Yeah.
one last weekend.
They're actually not cheap.
No.
Me and him went up north
I want
last
to get one
weekend.
of those and make it a little mobile.
There's a guy,
Yeah.
I was passing his house a lot when I was working at the powerhouse last year, and he's got a really tiny, like 12-foot camper in his yard. And I wanted to see if he wanted to trade my log splitter for it. It's cool. I want like a short camper like this for out-of-state hunting, real bad.
Little pop-ups aren't bad either.
I just wanted a nice hard.
pop-up that did the trick.
Mm-hmm.
Get
Yeah,
a
that would work. You
utility
get those cheap.
trailer. Put a cot in a utility
Yeah.
trailer.
You can do that too.
They make like bunks that fold up for those.
Yeah,
There's
I mean,
a
you could.
ton of them out by us. They manufacture all kinds of trailers on the west side.
And then I guess
in
you got
Indiana
an
on that.
enclosed trailer then too. Double bang for your buck.
Mm-hmm.
Those wall tents are steep. I was looking
They're
at those for a while.
expensive.
Those are real steep.
They're big.
They're real heavy.
Yeah.
I
They're
mean,
cool,
Yeah, it is.
but
It's definitely
I
cool.
think they've got their use. But
They're lighter than a trailer.
They are.
They are lighter than
Can't go other places.
But the nice thing about a trailer is
And
you
you
can
can
use
put
that
a-
for storage.
you can-
You gotta use a wall tent. You gotta take up storage space when you go to places. So that's a vice versa thing.
And you can put a pretty good size stove in those things too, where you can actually burn like some chunks of wood versus,
Mhm.
a shelter where you're burning Twix and Stigs.
Right.
And
Stigs.
Stigs.
Stags.
Twix and Sticks.
Yep.
Twigs.
Twix.
Twigs and Sticks.
When's the next trip up north?
Oh, not soon enough.
Yeah, I don't know.
We
Are
were
you
just
part of
up there.
the deer camp they do up there?
I try to get up there as much as I can.
It'd probably be late August. I would say we'll go up for a weekend to cut some firewood. We have some
I won't make that.
around our campfire. We've had some sections of fencing for years. They're spaced apart, but it's just to kind of make a little ambiance and break the wind around our campfire pit. And they're all rotted out and falling down and shit. So I was going to try to go up there in August and replace those, cut some firewood, and then hang some stands, do some scouting on the public land. And then I put trail cameras up maybe 6 weeks ago. I went up there. I hiked around 8 miles and hung. I found and prepped 6 hunting locations and hung 4 cameras. So I'd like to go back in late August, pull
Swap
those
cars.
cameras, or mid-September at the latest. But I'd like to go up there late September just because there's not that much going on around here, and I could go up there and cut some firewood and do a couple other things at the same time. So
We were just up there last weekend with Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, planting some oak trees and new chunk of state land got acquired, and DNR had a little like volunteer thing where we went and tore a deer blind out, took a couple stands down, pulled some posted signs off of it and everything. So
Nice.
that was pretty cool.
So how much property did they acquire this, or did we acquire?
It was 60 acres.
Nice.
Yeah. Had some
Public landowner.
they trade. The state makes trades, for parcels based on what usage privileges there
Right.
are.
And it was
there and
like
whatnot.
60 acres surrounded by a whole big chunk of state land. So it was like this last little chunk
Nice.
stuck in the middle of it. They traded out of that.
How'd it look as far as for deer hunting, maybe?
There were some parts that looked good for deer, other parts not so much, you know.
Mhm.
It was. I mean, it would be worth revisiting.
Yeah, no, there were some good spots for sure.
We were with a group, and there was stuff going on. But I looked around and I found a good plot of old rubs, big old rubs, and a couple of them had definitely been worked over last year. And then I found another rub, a distance away from that.
It smells like a skunk.
I smell skunk.
And then
I
you moved that
smell
around. I
skunk,
thought
too.
one was rubbing against my leg. I swear, I thought I had a skunk at my foot.
Smells like
Garage
a party.
door's open.
It's got to be
and the wind
close.
just shifted, and I smell skunk.
No, yeah.
I thought there was a party going
I
on.
thought he
out
was
there.
rubbing on my leg, getting fresh
I was
with me
about to say,
right
"How you
now.
doing?"
It's kind of weird.
Maybe the neighbors are going,
Getting skunky.
You guys bow up
Did you
there a
s-
lot?
yeah.
Where you go?
I mean,
Yeah.
how's the
I wouldn't
success
say
up
a
there?
lot.
Are you getting into it more now that you've been doing these more aggressive tactics?
More into it.
I don't, when I go up there, when I'm around here and I'm hunting, I still have my family responsibilities and
Yeah.
stuff, right? It's like I'm going out hunting for the morning or for the evening.
Gotta hurry up.
But when I drive a couple 100 miles and I'm going hunting and I'm invested in it, that's all I do.
Yeah.
And I don't know, success rate, I'd have to look and see how many trips we've gone on versus how many trips we've come back
Percentages
with
is
deer.
probably low, but experience,
I don't
it's
think
high.
I wouldn't say that it is
high.
low for coming with us as a group coming home with deer.
I'd say it's subpar.
It's Michigan.
But the experience is high. My whole point is the experience
No,
is
it's-
way higher because you're in northern Michigan. You're not hearing cars drive by. You're not even able to get phone calls.
I'm just gonna speak for myself. My ratio is fucking really good. I'm gonna speak for myself. When I go up there, I typically come home with a deer.
yeah. Yeah, I don't. I haven't.
I'm just speaking for myself.
Hey,
Some of us have lower standards.
yeah.
And I will not disagree with that, dude. If times are tough, I will take a slump buster spike horn buck.
Hashtag
it's Michigan. That could be a 5.5.
Michigan 11 point.
Look at this. Muzzle loader, late December, public land, Big Woods trophy.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I
at
never
that.
will forget that hunt.
Look at that.
Dude, he was nosing up some does,
I remember the
chasing
story of
them,
that one.
harassing them, and it was like December 18th or something, and right on the edge of a swamp.
I let him walk in November.
Yeah,
It's more justifiable because
his
it's late in
success
the
rates
season.
are really low.
Dude, like what Ryan said, it's about the experience.
It
for
is.
me, too.
No, and it's you can't beat Northern Michigan. You cannot beat Northern Michigan.
Yeah, when I say I'm invested when I'm going up there, I'm getting my fucking money's worth. And
Oh, yeah.
if that means
Yeah.
coming home with
No,
a
I know it ain't. It's hard. I mean,
But it's worth it, right?
Yeah.
It is worth it, and
if
it,
you get something in Big Woods, Michigan, you're doing something.
you can wanderlust out there. I mean, you can get out there and put miles on and
But I
truly
think
be alone.
you
can
could
get
go.
yourself in
I
trouble.
think you could
That's
go
what I
up
like
there
about
and
it.
scout one weekend, and you could go up because you know and understand. You've found the information, processed the information, applied the information. I don't doubt for a second that I could give you a map and say these are the spots we can hunt. You could go up there for one weekend, scout it, and go up there in the fall, pick the right time, go up there and kill a deer.
You can definitely get on the deer. It's just the caliber of deer. You really
Right.
have to
Yeah.
adjust your standards.
Right, and a lot of times, because of the rules, just hunting on buckhorn, I could have killed deer, but there's certain camp rules, and you abide by them, and I wasn't able to take those deer.
Yeah.
And I have in recent years upped my standard, where now I'm going to start to lower my standard a little bit more. I mean, especially getting into recurves and stuff like that. I need to get some more deer underneath my belt. I'm not going to be a guy that's going to be cocky and say I'm beyond that deer or whatever. I want to fill my freezer. Last year, I ate tag soup for 2 states. So, I mean, it was a tough
Hey,
soup to eat all of that.
Yeah, but when you do that though, that's when it pays off. When you can actually get to a point where you can let stuff go, and it's hard to do.
It is hard
you know.
to do. It's discipline. It's a big time discipline to let deer walk. And a lot of people, when I'm going to the family parties, for my in-laws or whatever, they're like, they know how crazy I am in the deer hunt. And they're like, hey, have you got something yet? And you're like, no.
They don't
They're like, oh,
understand.
Jimmy
they don't
got
understand
2
that
of
you're
them.
being selected.
I'm like, oh, yeah, Jimmy shot like a button buck and a yearling doe. Like, that's great. And I'm happy for him because it was illegal, but it's just not what I was going for, So, I mean, it's funny because a lot of people raise their eyebrow that don't get it, that look like we get it.
Right.
The trophy hunting versus the hunting.
And
It's,
if I could go back in time in a season, I'd be like, you know what, maybe I wouldn't have passed on that one deer, but you have that one choice to make that one time, and you make it, and you live with it.
That's the great thing about Michigan right there, though, is you get the 2 tags.
I know.
Now, I can't imagine the
I
pressure
wouldn't
the
care
Ohio
about
boys
having
are
one.
under, especially when you get those kind of in-betweeners. Like, is it a shooter or is it not a shooter? You only got 1 tag. You got to make a serious decision.
I'd be
right
the first
there.
guy to vote aye for 1 buck in Michigan.
Yeah,
I would do it. I would do it. With the amount of does you can take, 1 buck.
Yeah,
1 buck.
I rather
I don't know.
see
I kind of
APR,
like.
I
I
think.
kind of like the guys.
It's
Shoot
the APRs.
that little year and a halfer and get out of there, and then.
Great. I like.
Yeah, I
the
mean,
one
if he
buck.
shoots a year and a halfer, that's your 1 buck.
Yeah.
You shoot that
I
year
like
and a halfer.
that.
Shoot a spike horn, whatever. You shoot your buck, whatever
Yeah.
your buck is going to be, and then you
'Cause
can take.
I
doe.
know what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got my buck.
Yep.
I'm all done.
All right.
There's
Nobody
areas
else
in
out here.
Ohio where you can
Yep.
shoot 1 buck and
You showed
6
me.
doe. You know, there's counties in Ohio where you get
A doe is a trophy.
6 deer.
Well,
tags.
what you were saying about how you had to lower your standards up in northern Michigan, would you also agree that there's a counter argument to that aside from lowering your standards, you can really, really try to dial and focus in like how to do this at the highest level, because our trail cameras have showed there's some friggin' giants up there, right?
There's
There are.
big bucks in northern Michigan.
There are,
And anybody
for
that's
sure.
going to tell you difference, dead wrong. Like big, like
That's all you
170,
need is
pushing
the
200-inch
pictures.
or over 200-inch bucks up Michigan. They're there. They're there.
In
They're
the big
fucking-
woods there.
And they got mass.
Yes, in the big woods. I
Dart-
can show you a picture of a guy who shot this. He shoots big deer every year, and it's up there towards the Traverse City area. And this guy hunts his butt off, and he's hunted there for years, and he knows it. And he
You know what
shoots
they
giant bucks every year.
they remind me of is Saskatchewan deer. They have
Yep.
chocolate horns and they have
Wide,
thick,
wide
right?
mass
Wide.
all the way through.
Yeah.
Heavy bodies, right?
Yeah.
Would you agree with
Yep,
that?
I agree 100% with that.
They don't look
Yeah.
like the Midwest whitetails that
No.
you see on the TV
No,
shows.
not at all.
I
They
wish
look
I could
like
have
the
got
stuff that you see
I wish
come
I
out
could
of
get up to
Saskatchewan.
northern Michigan more in bow season. That's
I
my
want
thing.
to.
I like the bow. The
It's always
the
bow
gun's
season.
cool, but it's bow season for me. I have I've only got a few deer with a gun. I don't even hardly go out during gun season.
I
But
would.
I'd like to
if
get
they
up
got
there
rid
to
of a gun
bow
season,
season.
I wouldn't cry. I love gun season too, but archery is always my passion. Archery is a huge passion.
I like the
of mine.
fun of deer camp with guns.
Right, but if
Not
you
really
you'd still have
concerned
that
about
fun.
myself getting something. I want some action.
I think
go,
you'd still
go
have fun
drag a
if it was
deer out
only
someone else got
archery.
or whatever.
Right.
But bow
Well,
season for me is where it's at.
that's
That's where all my focus goes into.
I'm never gonna probably not likely that I would ever be down here at a farm and shoot a year and a half old buck. I'm not gonna get anything out. I mean, yeah, I get some meat, but I can get that meat regardless. But up there, when everybody's around and I know what we're gonna do is go back and cut a deer up and
Yeah.
drink some beers
Yeah.
and we're gonna drag it out together, and it's a whole camaraderie thing, man.
Yep,
And you're just kind of like
absolutely.
the camp. I think it's like that primal mentality of your tribe, My tribe will be very happy if I bring this.
Well,
deer
it's
home.
something to celebrate. It's
Yeah.
and it's accomplishment anyway. Up
I
north,
completely
I know
agree.
I hunted up there a few times gun season, and it's just a challenge. It's all there is to it. It's huge. The deer are spread out, and
It's so huge.
and they get the slightest little whiff of you, and
Yeah.
they're
They're
gone.
sensitive to human
it's really
intrusion,
cool.
for sure.
It's you definitely have to lower your standards up there.
I think we were on a 250,000 acres last weekend.
Yeah, it was gigantic.
Over or just around 250,000 acres of public land.
Man, I gotta get up there with you guys.
It's amazing.
But I gotta say, I got it so good where I'm at. It's tough to
I hear that.
move.
No, I
You
get
know,
that.
I got some good spots down here, but I still like am addicted to that up there.
I really want to do. I'd like to do every year. Go somewhere different. You know, me and
That
me
is-
and a couple
that's
of my
what
other buddies
Ohio's
talking
been
about
for us.
Ohio. We're gonna
It's worth
maybe
it.
go to Ohio next season.
You want
On
to go
some
over
public-
to Wisconsin there?
But I'm since I've been spending so much time in the swamps, hill country's cool. I'm not there. I want to spend more time in the swamps before I focus on that as much.
Hill country.
I'm having a great time in the swamps right now.
Well, I was
going
going
out there
to
and
ask you
walking
if you wanted
miles
to go
out there,
with
you
us
know.
this spring, this winter, to do a hill country with Infault. We're going to probably, we did this thing.
A workshop you're talking about?
We did a workshop. Well, we did an event this fall called Digital Deer Camp. And one of the prizes for the winners was we all went over to Dan's scouting workshop.
Which was
And I
awesome.
think this year coming up, we're going to do that same thing over again. But we're going to go do a hill country one, if you want to come with us.
Yeah, I'd love to. Oh yeah, look at that beard.
This guy
and
is
then the
super
rack, too.
gnarly. I mean, look at that rack. That's a nice buck.
Yeah, that's a nice buck there. Where's this?
That's up Traverse City area. And then my uncle, I got another picture of my uncle holding up a rack. That one is triple beam rack. Remember I showed you that one?
Yeah.
There's just there's some freaks up there, man. There's some absolute freaks. My uncle missed a 12 point with his crossbow this last season up on public land up there.
We were, before you got here, we were just getting into scouting, actually. Something I wanted to cover tonight. And I know you've been doing a lot of it. Fuck, you sent me a lot of photos of, like,
Every
very
chance I
distinct
get,
buck
my wife's awesome. My wife's awesome, and sometimes I'll take my daughters out when I'm not in the real nasty stuff, when it's something I'm sort of familiar with, but I'm going to go maybe groom a couple trees or something like that. I'll take my daughters out. But, yeah, she's awesome, and it's because of her dad. She grew up in a house where October, through January, don't disturb dad. So it's kind of like just inherent to the family already.
He's in
It's
rut.
like-
Just leave him alone.
Well, they just, it's like, it's hunting season. Let them do their thing, and it's not, it isn't even like I got to go, hey, you think I can slip out for the weekend? And, it's just kind of known to,
You're
my
in
wife
and out.
and family
Just
just,
kinda-
just
it's like
playing
a-
around it. And I'm
It's like
I
a saloon
love this.
door.
I love
the
my
front door is a
in-laws.
saloon door.
And my in-laws' property is super fun. It's really a cool piece of property. My father-in-law owns like 40 acres, but it hunts like 300
Nice.
because he only owns the awesome huntable parts of it, and then the farmers own the rest. So it's really cool.
And there's better deer over there.
Yeah, there's
Just less pressure.
there's monsters.
Is there
out
less
there.
pressure?
No, there's just more up and down. There's a lot more hills and swamps that run a long way.
So you,
A lot more ag. It's just different. People
opportunity.
own bigger parcels out there than they do out here. So when you got permission to hunt a property out here, you might have 10 acres or
Right.
something, or
Right.
out there, it's just big giant farms.
Right,
And
right.
so I guess you could say less pressure. I guess you could say that the concentration's less because if you go out there in gun season, it's a pain in the ass, and it was just unpleasant. So I stopped going on any public land during gun season. I don't trust some of them deep woods rednecks out there, to be honest with you. But bow season, I mean, like I said, I hit it really hard last year. I hit it really hard, and I didn't have one encounter, not one encounter with another hunter. I seen vehicles parked and stuff. There's access everywhere. God, I should shut up about this because they already know what county I live in.
No, but it's
it don't matter.
I forgot to write it down.
But I mean, it's great. I can, like with my job and stuff, I can, I get paid for the hours I bill. So
Do you know what's funny is what you're saying is the same thing that a lot of us are saying. There is so much public land hunting opportunity.
There's
a
room
lot
for
of
everybody.
A lot of it gets a bad rap.
Yeah.
But there's so much of it that's...
I think a lot of it got a bad rep before some of these guys like Infault and stuff came out and really
Guys don't know how to hunt.
made a big
People
deal.
don't know
Yeah,
how
the
to hunt.
woodsmanship's
Well,
gone. But
it's kind of one of those things, too, where if it, like, bleeds, it leads, you know? You always hear the bad stuff. Nobody talks about the good stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Well,
like,
a lot of guys
oh,
are very
wow, I
secretive
was-
about it.
Didn't see another person all year, you know? what I
People
mean?
nowadays are more apt to share their knowledge and information than they've ever been in the hunting. A lot of stuff was
I am
hush
with my
hush for a
friends.
lot of years. Well, there's a lot of friends that are listening
Yeah,
right now,
yeah.
you know. But it's-
Nobody's listening.
No. I didn't
Yeah,
think
but,
so.
but I mean, here's the big thing out by me. This is where the pressure. The deer are they're like trained. They're like dogs out there. They sit piled up in these swamps until it's dark and they come out. You have to go in there on the public land
Go
because
after
people
'em.
are running. I mean, there's some deep woods rednecks out there. There just is. I mean, they run coon dogs and all kinds of stuff out there. But there's a lot of deer. The sign doesn't lie. There's sign everywhere. You just have to put the time out there. That's one of the things that
Most
you
people
know,
don't scout. I'd
No,
say
there's no
probably
substitute. There's no. You can
10,
read all the.
15% of hunters really, honestly scout. I would probably say it would be less than 25% of hunters really put time
Really
in scouting.
scout. I don't care what magazines you read or what DVDs you buy. And you have to. You just
can't
have to
substitute
get in
it,
there,
right, like you said.
Yeah, you
I mean,
have to get
it's-
in there.
And like when Dan says, it's really like probably 90% scouting, and the rest is hunting.
Yeah.
And he'll go as far as too. And a lot of people have a hard time swallowing it, and it'd be tough for me. Like if I was going down to Ohio for the first time, and I had 4 days, he'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna spend 2-3 days scouting, or 2.5 days scouting, and the rest hunting."
Yeah.
A lot of guys are like, "No, I'm just gonna kind of hunt scout." And you pick a tree and you sit in it and you hope for the best.
Yeah.
That's tough to do, but
Very
I
tough.
mean that's how important it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was an eye opener last year getting into this. I'm really glad that I got into it. This state land stuff. It totally ups your game,
What are you...
and it's so much funner.
You're
More funner.
More fun or better.
running a lone wolf setup, and you're using hip boots. I seen.
It depends where I'm going. Every spot's different. Some places you could about walk through with your tennis shoes on.
Oh, don't tell people that.
Yeah. Well, if they ain't putting the time in, it doesn't matter.
Right.
That's
right.
all there is to it. If they're not putting the time
They're,
in and really analyzing the situation and looking at the thermals and the
I'm gonna write something down for you on here. There's a term that we just discovered.
Off of another podcast.
Yeah, it's not a podcast. These guys have a YouTube page. They film public land deer hunting videos. And you ever heard that?
Dickie.mo? Dickie.mo? I don't know what the hell that means.
Dickie Mo.
Dickie Mo?
Just Dickie Mo.
That's public land hunters that don't hunt like we. You're talking about the guys with the ladder stands and
Yeah.
all, the bags of carrots and that. They're Dickie
Well,
Mo's.
you don't. There's no bag of carrots out by me. The DNR plants. I don't know.
So we were saying there's levels to your Dickie Mo-ness.
Your Dickie Mo-ness?
Yeah, but
I don't know. I haven't hunted over bait in a long time. I haven't hunted over a field in a long time.
That's the thing that I finally grew out of, because I blame like the Drurys and shit like that. You see them hunting field
Yeah.
edges all the time. You're like,
Yeah.
man, they're shooting giants.
That's all you
Yeah.
gotta
Have 'em
do.
hunt these field edges.
Yeah, but I mean that's big money stuff.
right.
It's
exactly.
a business. you
Those
know?
deer, I mean,
I mean, I say I finally outgrew it. I
They
outgrew
know
it
that
like
they
10
know them.
years ago.
Right.
But
Yeah.
when you're 16 years
Well,
old
yeah,
or
you get
whatever, you're
whatever you
hanging
can
your
get your
tree
hands
stand
on,
right on
you
that
know?
that's
field
all
edge.
that was
Yeah.
available.
you're soaking up as much knowledge or what you think is
Right.
knowledge that applies to you, and a lot of it doesn't apply to you. Those shows they
Now if I'm by a field
those guys
edge,
are
it's
killing
like,
deer, but
fuck,
that doesn't
gotta
apply
get
to
out
you.
of here.
Well,
We
they're
don't
also
manage
killing deer.
farms.
They also bring in, hot chicks up in tree stands with makeup on, shooting 180-inch deer.
Right.
Half of the hunts.
Well, that
I
sounds-
rarely wear
It's
makeup
cool.
when I'm deer
That's
hunting.
cool, but it's like turkey hunting. You've been on property before this is loaded with turkeys. It's not that hard to shoot a big tom on a turkey on a
Piece of property
that's
that's got a bunch of
full
big toms.
Yeah.
Right, except for me.
Well, and those guys a lot of times too. I know we've talked about it before, but I mean, those deer, they pass on them. They're 1.5. They pass on them when they're 2.5.
They know 'em by
They pass
name.
on them by 3.5. These deer see them, they smell them, and they don't associate them with pressure anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
they can make mistakes and spook them and stuff, but a managed farm is a managed farm. Public land is public land. You're talking two total different things. It's day and night, you know.
What's been one of the
The
biggest
skill set's different.
What's been one of the biggest eye openers for you since? I guess we should clarify. I mean, you're kind of the one, and a couple guys, but you primarily kind of turned me on to Infault. And you went to his scouting workshop and came back, and you're just like, dude, this
Gotta
and
go.
that, and this and that. And what's kind of been one of the biggest things that you've taken since you went and did that?
One of the biggest things I've taken is giving deer a lot more credit than I did in the past. Kind of Infault's perspective on things. He really thinks like a deer. He gets in their beds and looks around and gives them a lot more credit than most people do.
They're not
know.
dumb animals.
No, there's a method to everything. You know, they're doing things for a reason. I spent a lot of years thinking that they just randomly cruise around, and you just got to get deeper and work harder than everybody else and stay in your tree stand longer. You always read those articles that are, I stay in my tree stand way longer than everybody else and suffer through this and suffer through that and walk this far and that. There's a lot more to it than that.
Lots of pieces
getting
to the
in
puzzle.
they're getting in the mind of the deer and thinking about how they survive and things like that. And then of course, when you Google Dan Infault and you see his picture on Google Images,
the barn.
he's got the barn and tons of just monsters behind him. It's like public land hunter. And it's okay. He knows what's going on, And that was the biggest thing. Plus, I love it so much. I love hunting so much. And sitting in a tree stand just hoping kind of got old, but I still loved it. I still did it, and it was just an eye opener to see that you could actually kind of play chess with the deer and really, do the kind of the beast tactics. And also, what was really intriguing was on public land was to be able to be so invasive and not pay the consequence. If
Right,
there's
you can
a
afford
problem
to
with
make
it, you
mistakes.
can leave and go somewhere else. Like we're on the private that I hunt. I wouldn't dream of going encroaching real close to the buck beds there. I wouldn't do it because
That's
my
it.
father-in-law's. It's his property, and he shoots nice deer out there, and I'm not gonna chase him away doing that stuff.
Right. It's not your property.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a guest out there,
Right.
so and even if it was my property, I still wouldn't do that. I still wouldn't be hyper aggressive on it. Just because the property's so good and it's such a good funnel. The dynamics of the property are just awesome that I wouldn't hunt it like that.
I've found that to be my biggest thing is my mindset. Like looking at things like, even a year ago or whatever, I'd see a rub or a scrape. I'm like, oh, there's a rub.
Set my
There's a
stand
scrape.
within like 10 feet of this.
There's deer around, let's start looking for a tree and where's the trail and this and that. Where I'm thinking way past that on a next level now, like, why is this here? Where would a mature deer bed from here? Like, from here, what's the radius where it has the features and whatnot that a mature deer would bed? And then I'll go in that radius and look for those spots.
You
And
got to
maybe
be
I
a
find
detective.
something, or maybe I don't. But I'll say that this year, I was way more efficient than I was last year. Last year, I hiked like 16 miles in 2 days. I didn't find one single spot that I felt was really worth the effort to go in there and hang a stand and hunt. This year, I spent 1 day, I hiked 8 miles, and I found 6 spots. That is like this.
You're educated now.
It's just crazy different.
Right.
And it's all about like just thinking differently about it. There's all the information's out there. Not all of it, but a ton of it, right?
Pretty much all of it. If you dig and you look for it, you're going to find pretty much all the information. You got to sift through some bullshit.
Yeah.
But it's the whole point of it is you got to be like an attorney or a detective. You're an attorney, you're building a case. You're not looking at one specific clue or one specific thing. You're looking at everything, and then you're focusing all those different facts into how you're going to, go at that thing. So how you're going to, whatever. It's just, they're all different layers of the onion. You can't look at the one thing anymore. You got to look at everything because the deer do kind of operate the same. They do have similar habits. They do react the same. They're trying to survive and not get killed, just like how we would react if we're out in the woods trying not to get offed, constantly. So when you're looking at these little clues and seeing how they're reacting to that chess game, I don't know which one of you guys just said, that chess game, you have to see how they react to that.
Pouting on the bar again.
Yeah, and then you got to get 2-3 steps ahead of them to where, like, hey, okay, they get this pressure, they're going to start to do this. Well, I need to go like this, and then what if they get that? You have to kind of stay 1 or 2 steps ahead of them, and
still get lucky.
And you know what? It's luck, but it's preparation, it's knowledge, and it's dude. One little mistake though one thing can throw it all out of balance. It's like a balance, one thing can throw the whole thing out and make it a new game. It changes the game.
2 big things for me. One is topography. Learning topography, learning how deer use it, edge, elevation, everything encompassed in that. So just learning topography. And then 2, how deer react to
Pressure.
To pressure.
Right.
What are those deer? It's almost like learning how other people hunt too. I mean, you've been doing it for a long time the same way that they've been doing it, but the deer have been reacting to that. So you're just looking like a dimension deeper into what are the deer doing to react to. And I think a big part of it for me too was John Eberhart talking about going in 90 minutes before the crack of day. And that's got me in position to definitely see way more deer because I see headlamps and things coming in and out and people pushing deer when I'm already in the area that the deer are getting pushed to, and they're comfortable in those areas. They know when they get in those areas, they're safe. I'm already there. They don't know that I'm there, but I'm already there, and they're going to move freely in that area. That 90 minutes before daylight is huge.
I have to agree, and I kind of build a little bit on that, knowing myself too, and how hard it is to get out that early.
That sucks.
And talking to Dan, a lot of times he says it's so hard to beat those deer to their beds.
He doesn't even hunt.
He doesn't focus. He doesn't. Not that he doesn't, because I remember I asked him, like, so you don't hunt in the morning, Dan? I'm like grilling him, like, should I not hunt in the morning? Give me an excuse not to hunt in the morning, Dan. But he's said it's just so hard to beat those deer to their beds.
I don't hunt very much.
That I don't focus a lot of my time in the morning. Most of my time is focused in the afternoon. I think that mornings can be very productive. I know a lot of guys that kill a lot of deer in the mornings, but I think that it's probably easier if you know where the deer are bedding. And that's the only way to make it better. If you know where the bucks are bedding, to get within that range to where you're going to get them while they're on hoof.
That.
Well, you also got to
That's
take
the whole
into
Dan Infalt.
consideration.
That's what everything Dan
You got to
Infalt
take into
builds that on.
consideration what he's chasing to versus what most people
There's
are.
mature bucks, and then there's
What he's chasing is probably the 1% of people that actually, that's probably why. You can go shoot satellite bucks and stuff like that.
right, and you could get out there in the morning, an hour before daylight, and set up and have a half an hour in the dark and kill a satellite buck. A year and a half, 2.5-year-old buck, sometimes even 3.5-year-old bucks, depending on maybe the.
Well, for him, I mean, you
Right.
agree that the age, the class of deer that he's hunting over there is dramatically different.
They're high class deer.
Just from like my experiences, like the bucks that I've seen that are worth shooting, you never even really see until like 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning anyways.
Yeah, you don't
It's
see them
always
first
like-
thing.
When people start coming out of the woods, that's when you start to see those deer kind of get up and start milling around. Like that 10 to 12
Yep.
is like the best window for a morning.
What time did you see that nice buck in Ohio last year?
That was different. That was,
It was
a little
earlier. That was first light.
But that was
Okay.
because people were coming in and kicked that thing
those
up.
kids.
Yeah, two
Well,
kids.
when I saw the big buck I saw on the same trip, right?
Mhm.
Same trip. There's a friend of ours that is dead set on dropping us off and going to eat breakfast and going out after daylight. So,
dead set on eating breakfast, he even took leftovers out hunting with him
yeah,
that morning.
yeah. Well, he was really kind of onto something, and I went with him the one time.
Don't give him that credit. He'll never stop now.
Well, he's still a goon, But I went out at probably 8:30, 9 o'clock. And here I'm in a destination hunting trip, so it was kind of hard actually for me to do that, not be out in the woods at first light. I went out. I was able to be quieter because I'm not using a headlamp. I'm not using a headlamp kind of signaling my location to a deer, because those deer, if they're bedded and they're hearing stuff, they see a light, they can kind of pinpoint you. So I think you're more stealthy not having to use a headlamp.
Oh, definitely.
So-
in the dark, if you're going into an area you don't know, especially hill
Right.
country, you're stumbling, you're sliding around, you're getting stuck in briars and everything. You're causing a racket.
And
getting
there's a
through
lot of
the woods.
briars there, so I've got my hand pruners, and I can snip little branches if I get caught up on them, just to be that much quieter. I'm setting my stand up quieter. Well, I set up, say 8:30, 9 o'clock. Half an hour later, I'm trying not to do this as much anymore, but I threw out a little light tending grunt. And within 15 minutes, I heard something, and he come by. I had him at 18 yards, but never gave me a clear shot that I was comfortable taking. But it was like a 140-inch buck. And then that same day, Jason, he went out and he hunted, and we all went in the afternoon to back to camp. We stayed at like a KOA or a hunting, or just a regular camp around there. And he stayed out all day. And what was it, like 11 o'clock? He saw, 130, 40, 50-inch buck, around that time. So you see, and the biggest deer I've ever shot was, I think it was an 11 o'clock deer. So it seems like a lot of the deer, the bigger bucks that you see, I don't know if it's just during rut time or pre-rut, but it's that late morning, to middle afternoon, not late afternoon, is when you're
Well, I
getting a lot
think
of that
they
movement.
watch and identify
And they're checking the
people
doe bedding, I think,
leaving the
too.
woods, too. I mean, they hear all the same
Right.
sounds we hear.
Well, they know the dead times for them. This is the safer time to move, maybe, or
Right, yeah, they're patterning you as much as you're patterning
or
them.
more.
Right.
Because you're in their house. You're the visiting team every time you're out in the woods.
Right.
And then that time of wood, even if it's pre-rut, that October time frame, they're
There's
still
a-
cruising doe bedding. They're locating those doe beds, and marking it for rut. They're
Wha-
making mental note of it.
One of the spots that I hunt in the Pigeon that I've seen the biggest buck that I've seen in my life is right on the corner of a 2-track and a road that gets quite a bit of traffic. And when everybody leaves, the first 10 a.m., there's a group of people that leave, and
That's
then
about this time.
then from 10 to 12, there's people trickle out. You know what I mean? And then around 12 o'clock, deer will start coming through.
That's what I hear from a lot of the old timers that hunt the public land where I'm at.
Yeah.
Dickie
lot
Mouse,
of 'em.
10
The
o'clock,
guys
man.
that
I've witnessed it time and time again, man.
That work the graveyard shift, that hunt during the daytime. We see a lot of movement in the middle of the day out there. You would be surprised.
Yeah.
And
I watch it happen. I watch the people walk out of the woods. You hear the car doors close. You hear their car go down the road. And then a fucking deer stands up 40 yards
There
away.
was one day last year I sat out in the woods all day, and I was on our chunk of private land up there. We got a pretty rowdy deer camp. Everybody's basically gets out there at dawn, comes in around 9:30, 10 o'clock,
starts
sleeps,
drinking.
drinks a couple hours, comes back out around 3. you know.
Coffee, right into Bloody Marys, right into beer.
They'll come back out at 3, sit till 6, and go in and start
There's a lot of guys that
partying
aren't very
again.
serious about their deer hunting.
Right.
But they're serious about deer camp.
I'd say we're
That's
a
how-
fine
That's how I
blend.
treat deer camp when I go. I do my real serious stuff by myself usually.
deer camp, I'm going to go have a good time.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
I said it was opening day. It was like 50, up north, 50 degrees, no mosquitoes. It's like you don't get that very often.
Right.
So I was just like, I'm going to sit out here all day. And I saw more deer that day. I saw probably 13 deer just sitting in that stand between 11 a.m. and
2.
3 p.m.
Well,
I would bet my
And
check
as
on it.
soon, I literally had deer milling around in there, little bucks chasing does the whole time and everything, because I was kind of like in the little bedding area. And as soon as you could hear the cars coming down the trail, because I'm hunting the private land that we have, and there's a 2-track that goes right through it. And these deer literally peeked up and they're looking right over towards the road. You know, and you could hear the doors close in and everybody's starting to like fan out into the woods and the deer just disappeared. You know, they walked right down into the thickest
bet.
stuff and just lied right down.
And that's why I would probably go out at 9 o'clock and set up and sit the whole day. But I'd even bet a paycheck on it if you instead of went from in the morning for your first sit or in the afternoon for your last sit, if you were to go out at 9 and then go in at 4 before dark, you'd probably see more deer on your sits than you would if you went and hunted a morning or an afternoon. I'd probably bet my check on it.
Yeah.
But me personally, I would probably go out at about 9 o'clock and force myself to sit till dark.
It gets
what I
hard though, that midday when you're sitting out there, you start to question why you're sitting out there still. It's like,
Then you eat a sandwich.
yeah.
right. Well, that's when the jet boil comes in handy.
I need to
Take
get
a little break, boil yourself a
Oh,
thing of water,
man.
make a little cup of coffee.
That would be amazing. I have a regular MSR stove, but I need to get a jet boil with the press and all that. It just seems way more convenient.
Just out there
Yeah.
cooking
Jet
some food.
French press and a
Well, I don't cook
premium
food,
cup of
but
coffee.
I have pulled it out of my bag and had a little cup of hot coffee sitting up in the tree stand around lunchtime.
It's
just
normally
to-
trail mix for me or something like
Yeah.
that I keep in mind.
But it
Or
lifts your
almonds.
spirits, man. I know it's probably not doing me any favors, you know, as far as hunting goes. But if it's, 30 out,
Hey,
kind
you're
of
better off being out there.
right.
Yeah.
Even if you're brewing a premium cup of coffee.
Plus,
and
there's something
French
just
press.
pretty invigorating about brewing coffee sitting in your lone wolf,
So-
20 feet up. You know.
We're doing I got some couple companies to send some coffee, and we're gonna do like a taste test on the podcast. And Caveman Coffee, Black Rifle, Hunter's Blend, and Dark Timber, I believe, is sending coffee in this week,
Nice.
and we'll have all of
A
them.
taste off. All out of the jet boil?
Product comparison, yeah, I think we'll do a jet boil and a drip
Okay.
for each one.
I think
Wow,
that
that's
you
good.
have to do a jet boil at the bare minimum because that's how you're going to have most
That's
of it
exactly-
out in the
Well, I
woods.
mean,
what I
jet boil
said.
is. I mean, I guess you could just do
What
it
are you
French
guys doing?
press.
Taking water out with you in the ground?
Yeah, like a
Just
Nalgene
take
bottle or
Nalgene's.
something like. Yeah.
I'll take like 3. What are those Nalgene's? 32 ounces.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so I'll take like 96 ounces of water with me.
Holy smokes!
I take one and an empty Gatorade bottle to piss in.
Well, if I'm going for
I usually just brew my coffee with my piss. It's sterile, man.
if I'm going for an overnighter, I'll take 96 ounces because that gets me like 2-3 cups of coffee and
Oh,
What do you mean
alright. I thought you were
overnighter?
talking about just sitting in the
A
day.
normal deer hunt.
Right.
Dan Infalt would just
yeah.
spit on you for that.
That Dark Timber company actually makes like a little tea bag full of coffee grounds for your.
Nice.
It's
Staying in the
awesome.
tent for the night and you know what I mean.
Ah,
Not
so-
coming back to the truck
You're total. Yeah, for
Getting
an overnighter
serious.
or two-nighter, you're gonna pack 100
because
ounces of water. So
yeah, I mean any of the accessible water up there, I'd rather hike back.
come
to
on,
the
you
truck.
need to do the pen on that stuff.
I'd rather just hike back to the truck, man. It's either
I got a
nasty.
little filter.
It's either
I got the bag
nasty.
one, the bag filter.
Yeah. The
Am I missing
squeeze.
something? Everyone's brewing in the tree stand. It sounds like.
I'm not, but I'm thinking about doing it. If these guys are, why
Your
not?
your options are swamp water or elk wallow water. Either way, it's
Or coffee.
Not gonna make
Or
a
just
good.
bring straight coffee with you.
Right there, you go in a thermos.
Yeah.
Well, you can do that, but I'm saying like if you're in a couple instances when we went scouting,
Whoa.
Whoa.
we've hiked back into the woods and not come back until the next day, and you got to make coffee in the morning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But typically, what I do is, I'll brew coffee, and I'll bring water with me to brew coffee out in the field, or I'll have it in a thermos. So, but yeah, we got those little jet boils, and they have a press, a coffee press that comes with it.
Little French press.
Yeah,
What
if
is
you
this?
open that thing up, it's a stove.
Oh damn, it's light.
Yeah, they're a pretty sweet little setup.
So that holds your fuel canister.
Like I said, I've got I've got one.
This is getting real serious.
Oh yeah,
Oh, look at that.
I've got a
Little
different
burner
setup
back
altogether.
there.
The thing about the jet boil is their claim to fame is being able to boil water quicker than any other stove.
Under 2 minutes.
Yeah, mine might take a little longer.
What does this somehow go?
So this would sit on there. That's your fuel canister.
That fuel canister probably.
This is real good radio here, but
Where do you do this in the tree?
oh yeah, I've
Just
done it sitting on my platform before.
Teacher little took us up with that thing too.
Yeah, it's
man.
good for. It's just a good thing to like give you a little break from sitting out there staring at
something
the
to
trees
do.
the whole time.
Another little project.
Yeah,
Right.
instead
Reward
of
at the
climbing
end.
down and walking back to your truck and everything. I know it's obviously not the best thing to do out there.
Well, I'll take.
but helps with
I
the
don't think it
sanity
mat-
issues.
I don't think it matters. I'm convinced you're not going to cover your scent anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it makes noise. It makes noise, but you get it done in what, 2 minutes,
Yeah, it's 2
and then
3 minutes.
I'll bring it in a baggie or a little thing or whatever, like a big chunk of butter, and then from when my wife, when we had a baby, she's got from the breast pump, she's got the little bottles that you put the breast milk in. I'll bring those.
I
with
thought he was going straight breast milk on
Oh
the
no!
coffee.
I thought shit was about to get weird.
those little
Thought
seal,
this Black Velvet turned into truth serum all of a
Yeah.
sudden.
those little closable bottles
Yeah.
that are made for breast milk.
Yeah, yeah.
I put half and half in them, and I'll throw one in my
Just
pack.
a glass baby bottle or something.
No, it's plastic. It's like a little sealable top.
That
you know,
hooks onto the pump.
hooks onto a breast pump. Yeah. But so I got this like premium cup of coffee, better than a fucking shitty cup of coffee you can get at Starbucks.
So when you're
Sitting out in the middle of nowhere,
Yeah.
and you're just like, oh yeah, dude.
just a Northwoods barista.
Dude, there's nothing.
Backwoods barista.
When you're sitting in the tree stand and you're like hearing the wind going through the pines, you got a little snow falling, and you got a hot cup of coffee in your hands, and you've been sitting out there freezing your dick off for 6-7 hours already, and it's hard to beat. It really lifts the spirits.
Yep.
Oh, I imagine.
And then, when we went deer hunting this year, we stayed in that teepee for one night.
Yeah, we were just out there the one night. We
And-
went over to Young Dykes Camp.
I brought some dehydrated meals
I did not.
where you just boil the water and then you just pour it in the bag, the dehydrated meal, and it was nice. Just no cleanup, no nothing.
I burnt the shit out of some old pulled pork in my jet boil, and
I'm a little spoiled with my spots right down the road.
Yeah.
I don't have to do all that stuff.
Well, I don't have to do all that stuff either,
But
but
it would be fun.
that's the thing. Yeah, it is fun. You come home and sleep in your bed after a weekend like that, and you're like,
Yeah.
fuck, this bed feels really good.
Yeah.
I gotta step out, guys.
Oh man, we got one dropping out
I
already.
gotta work tomorrow.
I'm going to be right behind you here shortly.
Well, hey, it was fun. Thanks for embarking on Black Velvet Fest.
Oh yeah, I tried.
Hey, here's to the first year, man.
Yeah, it wouldn't
Here's
be
to
a
the first year.
It wouldn't be a good first year podcast if you weren't leaving early.
Okay,
to
you
go
know,
to
it's
work.
pretty cool that you came on here, being that you were like the first podcast as well.
I wasn't the first
One of the
was
first.
I close
You
to-
were in the first.
You beat me on
I think
here.
you were 3 or 4,
Yeah, yeah. Full circle stuff.
which
man.
was a good conversation. Actually, that podcast still to this day gets a lot of downloads.
It's crazy that I've. This is the first time I think I've met you since, and I've heard a lot about you. I'm like, who is this guy?
Before you leave, I want to make quick mention of this. I'm going to bring it up again. They say to bring it up 3 times. That'll really impact people and make them make this kind.
Is that a marketing thing? Nice.
Yeah, marketing. That's what we're doing here right now. We opened a Patreon account.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
You
and
finally did it.
the link is on our website. So we don't really have any sponsors for our show. It actually costs us money to do this. It's be terrible.
It's a bad business decision. really.
Terrible business person. But some guys had messaged in and said, hey, if you guys ever set up a donation thing, we'd donate to the show or whatever. And I thought, that'd be cool if the guys that listen to this fund it so we can keep it going in this manner versus having to go the traditional method of,
Getting
what,
Sponsors and
dealing
with that bullshit.
AccuBow. We're bringing in the AccuBow.
I've got
running ads.
so
I'll
many
fucking-
Instagram posts.
Listen,
stored up for
I'm threatening you all right now. If you do not
Don't
go
force me to
to
go
our
AccuBow.
Patreon, if you do not go to our website and donate to our Patreon within 1 year, I'm going to run AccuBow commercials in the middle of this podcast.
Every
I don't even
15
know. I
minutes.
never. What is AccuBow?
Stupid.
It's this bow and arrow with a rubber band that you sit on your couch and you can pull it back, and it simulates you drawing your bow and strengthens your muscles and makes you a better
Yeah.
hunter.
It's just literally like a resistance band that you'd see at a gym or whatever, and they put it on this like Nerf bow, and people
doesn't-
just sit there and draw.
Yeah, and I think the new one has like a laser sight on it, so you can like hold it on a mount.
Real
Yeah,
still.
like I see like the real famous hunters when they're
That's
doing
pretty
it,
neat.
they'll hold the
Are
laser.
there people pushing it?
Oh yeah, it's they're spending.
Dude, well, I mean, the hunting industry straight up pushes a lot of stuff.
I don't want to talk too bad about them because
I can't-
I'm telling you
I
right now.
can't right now either.
We're gonna have.
Yeah.
You're
It's
gonna
gonna
force
be
Kevin's
nothing.
hand.
Nothing but AccuBow and
And-
shake weights on.
Oh
here.
yeah, and I mean, he's gonna be painting his face with camo face paint.
Oh,
like
I
this
do that
whole
already.
Season. Oh, he's gonna
Yeah.
spend a lot of time.
I bet
with
you
it,
they.
though.
I bet you they hate Dan Infalt. They gotta hate
Yeah.
him. He's shooting
that?
deer with a purple shirt on after he gets out of work.
The
And
guy
then-
will wear like 8 cotton T-shirts to stay warm.
the point of the conversation is I would love for fellas,
to support
ladies
us.
and gentlemen that have listened to this podcast in its first year to go to our website and
Join
scroll down and it
Patreon.
says, what's it say? Give us money? No.
Hashtag
it says
send me
something
money.
something way more politically correct.
like the Wikipedia thing. that
donate.
basically says,
I think
"Hey,
it says
man,
maybe donate to the
you
show.
don't have to, but don't be an asshole.
Donate to the show. Support the show. That's what
Yeah,
it says.
yeah.
Give us a little support.
Yeah.
We need some
And
support, like a
it's
good
super
jack
easy.
strap.
You just go on there. It links you right to our Patreon account. And what the Patreon thing is actually is pretty cool. It's almost like a social media platform, like a forum, where we'll list these episodes, and everybody that's a Patreon can go on there and talk about it, share content and whatnot, and we'll have a couple episodes that'll only be released to that group of people that donate to the show.
Secret
And what I
episodes?
think what we're going to do is at the end of the year, everybody that, I don't care if you donate $1, $2, $5, $20, doesn't make a difference
$1
to
million.
me. If
Put
you
that on
open an account and you're in that list of Patreons for the show, at the end of the year, I think we'll do some type of social gathering,
That'd be
meetup, pint
cool.
night, whatever, where we'll all get together and drink and
show you all of our best hunting spots.
show you something.
Our wilderness areas.
Right, right. No, that'd be cool to have a little.
Show you our
best
private
cups
land.
of coffee
Right.
that we brew.
Yeah.
We'll model the new BHA underwear for you.
But yeah, it's super simple. Just go on our website, click the support the show link, and you can put in there. It's like $1 amount, set up monthly. $1, $2, $5, whatever you think our times were. I can't believe I'm putting this in the hands of our listeners, but some people have been as kind to say it's worth $500 a month.
How?
I didn't agree with them necessarily, but I also
Someone's-
started thinking about
Needs
it.
to lay off the swish a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, value is a very personal thing.
Values very. Yeah. So the options there,
Right.
and we'll have, as we build it, we'll have some rewards like for people that do donate over $20 a month or $10 a month or $5 a month, whatever it's set up. But that's going to keep us in a position where we can have an honest platform. We don't have to go the traditional method where we're going to take a check from,
Listener driven, not sponsor driven.
yeah,
Right.
similar to, and I kind of got the idea from Jared Scheffler, the guy that runs Whitetail Adrenaline. I told him, I was like, dude, I kind of want to keep my podcast sponsor free. He's like, well, you're doing a podcast, and that's to promote stuff. So being sponsor free is not really going to work for you.
Right.
I was like, well, I didn't want it to be about that. He's like, you got to find balance. He's like, you got to find a balance. And I'm like, well, we got to fund it. Like, I'm not going to pay thousands of dollars a year,
Every year.
to do this.
Just to go dick around with your buddies on
Be
some
pretty hard to
headphones.
justify for my mental health and for my wife's mental
Yeah, I
health.
was gonna say the wife's not gonna bite on that one.
No, she didn't. Believe it or not, she's like kind of did some accounting for the
Okay, you had your
entity
fun now.
this year, and
Right.
she's like, hey, Guess
You're not
what?
very profitable. You're actually not profitable at all.
It's actually the worst business I've ever seen.
You're way negative.
Yeah. So throw us a bone. Throw us a couple bucks. We can keep this thing up and running. We can keep it sponsor free. And it's working. We're getting companies to send gear in where we can do honest reviews.
Right.
Everybody you dealt with, no one said, like, no one gave you guidelines, right?
No. I talked to just recently. I've talked to a handful of good companies, but two of them, Wild Edge and New Tribe, both. After just explaining a little bit, exactly, probably the last 5 minutes of what you've been explaining, we're just regular dudes getting together. We don't have any money coming to this, and we've got just an awesome listener base that really they take our
Like a
honest
family.
opinion. They take our honest opinion on what we're
Shout
talking
out
about.
Greg Tubbs.
Tubbs,
Tubbs.
Ginger Ninja.
Yeah.
But no, we try stuff out and we're honest with it. If we don't like it, we'll tell you what we don't like about it, or if we like it, we're gonna tell you what we like. And New Tribe and Wild Edge, were kind enough to send some gear over, some of their equipment. We're gonna try it out. We're gonna tell everybody what we think about it, and that's basically what it's gonna be about. And what other companies want to send us stuff, we're not gonna turn it down. But we'll give all of our listeners an honest review.
Right. Yeah, I
So
completely
if you
agree.
have something bad and you think it's going to be a bad review, you probably don't want to send it to us.
Yeah.
So
It's shit. People are gonna find out about it.
Right.
Yeah, and if anybody was ever say, well, you guys got a discount on that or whatever, and you're not giving an honest opinion, I've paid way more for any of this gear than anybody
Oh,
would
yeah.
if they paid to go. I mean, to get set up to do this, to make these relationships with these people and these companies and whatnot. I mean, we've definitely paid more than
I spent a lot of
retail
time.
would be.
Invested a lot of time.
Well,
But it's worth every penny to me because, like you just said, the couple guys' names that we said, the community of these people, I am so appreciative of for all the guys and the girls that we've met in the first year of doing this. And
They're just good people.
us deer hunters got to stick together, man. You
Say
know,
when.
they're trying to phase us out.
And that was the other thing, too.
Supposed to say when.
I mean, I can.
When?
That's good. I mean,
Holy
I can
black
probably
velvet.
go off on some tangents right now, and this is probably off a little bit. But I wanted to add one thing, as long as Kevin doesn't mind, because that is the what is that link again on the website?
Patreon. You just
Patreon.
go to
Patreon. Is
Deer
it,
Hunter.
Can you do one-time gift or a reoccurring?
It's. I think it's set up as a monthly
you-
subscription.
okay.
So if you paid $1 a month, you're gonna pay $12 a year.
Gotcha.
And that's what my wife said. Well, what if people want to make a one-time donation? I'm like, fuck, $12 a year. I mean, you can put in 25 cents if you want.
You could always do it and
take your-
cancel it.
You should take your top 2 biggest donors up to Vistas and Camp.
What I'd like to do, though.
Well, I've already got some pretty good ideas about what. I just got it set up like today.
Every time he wants Coke in his black velvet, he acts like he's snorting a rail off the bar for me there.
it's my code
Is that
word.
how
And
you
it
gotta do
works.
Yeah.
I got some, I think, pretty good ideas for like
Oh, I should have said when.
donations for rewards for donations, and it's gonna all circle back to socializing,
Right.
deer camp, and some gear for sure. Because we do have some companies that do support this show,
Right.
people that we like,
Um,
that have products that we believe
She did
in,
a lot.
that we feel make us enjoy deer hunting more.
Right. The whole thing, whenever I've sent an email to a company, I said we're always into trying out new gear that are going to enhance our experience out in the woods or make things more enjoyable out in the field. And that's what we're always trying to do. I'm kind of a gadget guy. I always like to see, only when it comes to really deer hunting, if I like to see, like, hey, what are these ideas people are coming up with that...
You know what? You say you're going to leave at 11 o'clock.
I know. This always
20.
happens
That's
to
what I
me.
told my wife, too.
20 after 11.
Right.
Your wife's probably in bed.
Well,
She's
can I-
probably...
Mine?
Can I throw out my
No,
routing
no.
and my account number and my social security, and people can send money directly to me? I was going to see if you minded. Could I give you my personal information out, and people can maybe send me money?
Are you going to...
Just my
There.
personal mother's maiden name.
So, yeah. Send dick pics too.
Well, it's going to be hard
Go
to set
ahead,
to
give-
my routing and my account number.
Oh,
But
Well, what's your
thought you
email
said
then?
you were gonna.
Sometimes that's
yeah.
as good
What's
as
your
gold.
what's your phone
You said
number
you were
then?
going to give out your personal information, so
I'll have you posted on the website.
okay.
We'll do
You
that.
spend enough on Patreon, you can send dick pics to Ryan.
Here you go. Deal. Donate over
Up-
$5 a month to the
Patreon,
podcast. Ryan's gonna DM you some sexy pics of him in a tree saddle with no pants on.
It could be with the new BHA underwear too. I hope Drew and
Public
Jason doesn't get upset about that. That's a good
access my
idea.
private land.
Public access. Anyways, but no, it's
I just
Good
want to
stuff.
go home.
go home. it's so hard to take those mics.
It's Ryan at deerhunterpodcast.com. No, it's actually not even a real
It's not a real link. No,
URL.
no.
Deerhunterpodcast.com is.
Mm-hmm.
And subscribe to our website.
In the email.
A lot of people have done it, and at some point in time here in the near future, I'll release some information on there, just thanking the people that did subscribe to our website in the first year. A lot of people subscribe to our website. I haven't put one thing out ever, like a letter or email, whatever you call them, contact thingy.
We're a bunch of dicky mo's when it comes to that stuff.
We're very much not into the tech stuff, but they typically will subscribe to your website so that they can get like
Free content.
current information and updates.
Mailing list and
I don't really
news.
have anything,
Yeah.
but thanks for signing up. So I'm gonna reward those people
Somehow.
in some manner
The
for being so kind
Provocative pics of
to
me,
actually
maybe.
go there and do that. And anybody else that would want to do that here in the near future would be greatly appreciated, because you're gonna get some. What do you want to call it?
We'll call it a sneak peek, maybe. Maybe a sneak peek into
A
the
little SP.
Rain Man of Public Land.
A little SP.
It's like a dick, but smaller.
So yeah, the Patreon account will be open for anybody's charitable donation.
Open for business.
And then we're also working on that thing that you sent me, but I had problems with the link last night and getting it set up. Anybody that uses Amazon
You're getting an Amazon affiliate.
will
link.
have an Amazon affiliate on our website.
That
So
is
like if you use Amazon, you can set your bookmark up through our webpage, so we get
Everything you buy
credit
gets credit.
for
Yeah.
trafficking
My
people.
wife's on to me.
Oh shit.
She's on to me.
Mine just asked me if I was coming home tonight, which I made a double take at it. I'm like, whoa, is it?
I hope she doesn't listen to this. See me just shut her off like that.
My wife hasn't listened to a single podcast, even though I've told her, like, check it out. It's actually kind of funny. She's like, I don't think, maybe.
My wife was talking about it too. She goes, I can't believe people find your stupid jokes funny. I'm like, yeah, I don't know why either.
We all do, but we build each other up, you know.
Well,
This is safe
But
space.
Amazon affiliate will be you just have to use the link one time through our website. It'll take you to Amazon, set it as your bookmark for Amazon. Everything costs the same on Amazon. You won't notice a difference in pricing or anything. Just the show gets a little kickback from any purchase you make on there.
Just shows that you were sent there by the Deer Hunter podcast.
Exactly.
No
Yeah.
skin.
That simple.
And I think people are wanting to see some Deer Hunter podcast gear out there, stickers and stuff like that. I think that's something that could happen.
it might be something worth signing up on the website
Could be.
to get the first pick at the maybe a hooded sweatshirt, t-shirt,
Ooh.
hat, sticker, koozie.
Exclusive.
All that stuff's coming here real quick.
Real quick. Real fast.
So, and there's a couple guys that have been listening to the show and interacting with the show since the first one we ever put out. And I'll just let you guys know that you got a whole box of goodies coming to you for no cost, because I'm super appreciative of the support that we've gotten in our first year. So
We
you
do
know,
got some
there's
hardcore guys.
probably
man.
a dozen or 2 dozen guys that I know by name that I talk to every week that got some stuff coming to them just to say thanks for the amount of
Definitely.
support
Stuff
that
at.
you guys have given us. What's that?
Where's all my stuff at?
You ain't getting shit.
Mom,
You got
Dad.
Black Velvet.
Yeah.
Thanks, Aunt Judy.
What more could you want? Other than that, we
We cover everything.
pretty much wrap everything up. I was thinking Drew's going to bounce out of here and we'd keep going for a little bit, but I think we're done. I wanted to get into some other stuff, but we're over 2 hours. And
Right. I mean, I guess you could say too. Thanks for all the reviews too on iTunes.
I guess I do want to say one.
reviews on iTunes and.
Yeah,
Guys are just hanging me out here.
Wait, Drew, is there something else we wanted to mention?
well, I was just gonna say, I'll also on the website all the images of any of the stuff that's on there. We've gotten a lot of discount codes
Yeah.
with companies, and if you click on those companies' banners on our website, it'll typically direct you to a place where you can potentially get,
All our discount codes are listed on our YouTube videos also. So if you go, just search Deer Hunter Podcast on YouTube, find the most recent video. It'll have the updated discount codes for whatever people are working with us on that given time. So
Is that Wild Edge one up? and going?
no,
Okay.
it's Drew just sent it to me.
Yeah.
Because somebody
Deer
asked
Hunter
about
10,
it.
I think.
Somebody asked about it yesterday. Is that what it is?
I'm pretty sure those
that podcast isn't up yet. So
that's right. It's not up yet. Well,
No,
there's a podcast.
I think it'll be up this week, though.
Okay, so it'll be up before this one.
No, I don't think it'll be up before this one. I think it'll be up just after this one.
Okay.
So, what is it? Do you see it?
My teeth are floating, gentlemen. Be right back.
Yeah, you gotta do it, man.
Teeth are floating.
You gotta do it. I'm trying to find our most recent.
I'm gonna go cross streams with him. I'll be right back.
You guys
Do
are
it.
going to play swords?
Yeah. Just the tip.
Oh, okay. I think I found it.
Terrible radio. And I do apologize.
Yeah, this is very unprofessional. But I'm getting close to it. It's okay. Hey guys.
I got it.
Yeah.
It's Deer Hunter 1.
Deer Hunter 1. All lowercase, no spaces, the number 1.
At Wild Edge Inc.
Wild Edge Inc. It'll give you 10% off of
The Tree Steps.
yeah, a Tree Steps, or I think any of their gear really.
Oh, nice.
And I'm telling you, if you've got any questions for Drew, give him a call. The guy is super cool, down to earth. He'll answer any questions, and there's a lot of YouTube videos too you can watch on his steps on how to set them up. I'm still a newbie on it, but you are too. I mean, we haven't had a whole lot of time, but we've messed with them a little bit, and I like them. And I see that they're definitely a great option, if not, I'd say they're a great option out in the woods.
I would say so. I don't think they're the end-all, be-all.
No, but they're very versatile and very compact. That's
Yeah.
the two things I'll say. They're probably the most versatile and most compact out of any method.
I will say that I was just kind of impressed with how they function. They're so different than anything that I have, and they certainly have their place.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, I'm excited to have them, whereas I was pretty open and saying before we...
You're a little judgy about them.
Yeah, I was like, those things look like a fucking pain in the butt and a waste of time.
Right.
But no, I eat my words, and I think they're pretty sweet. So
How was the sword fight?
No, I don't know who won.
Not sure.
Got
You
out
guys
of
both
hand.
look defeated.
I don't think anybody comes out of that a winner
But
or a loser.
all right,
trail cam season. If anybody needs a trail camera,
Exodus.
yeah, the promotional code with Exodus is Deer Hunter.
Mm.
Just Deer Hunter. That's what I wanted all these guys to make our promotional code is just Deer Hunter, but they always want to put a 1 or a 10 or a 20 or a 15 or an 18 or some fucking
We'll
number.
take it, man. We'll take it.
Yeah.
No, maybe we could do Deer Hunter 69, man. People will be able to. Hey, you jerk! Why aren't you home yet? I get those.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll get the coffee episode done here in the next couple weeks when we all reconvene.
I say we do it Sunday after we go walleye fishing.
Sundays are pretty busy for me.
So thanks again to everybody. And, you'd mentioned if anybody would want to go to iTunes and leave us a ranking or review.
Yeah.
And somebody left a mean one the last couple weeks. So
Right.
a bunch of you guys would go there.
But
and
he
bury
spent the
that.
time to do it. Hey,
He
man.
did.
Hey,
He
all
did.
more power to you, I guess, buddy. You know, that's cool.
We got a lot of support. I reposted on social media. People didn't agree with it, but I kind of agreed with it.
We're gonna do.
He
a
said
mean-
I was
we're gonna do a
monotone.
mean tweet
I think
segment.
sometimes I am monotone. Because I'm fucking tired, man. What do you want out of me?
That's all I got.
Yeah.
You got. Someone said that. You
Yeah.
got too monotone.
Monotone. Yeah, and all of us share common deer knowledge.
Somebody.
Can you believe someone would say that about this podcast?
That is ridiculous.
You'd be at deer camp.
Meep mop.
Man, you guys are too monotone for me. I'm out of here.
You guys have nothing but common deer knowledge. I'm out of here.
Yeah, he did say we shared common deer knowledge, and I was very monotone. He cut me down in an extremely professional manner.
Yeah.
That was very well worded.
It was, man. Grammar was all there, punctuation, the whole thing.
Yeah, I
He was
tried
just
to edit
disappointed
that thing.
with the content.
Yeah.
He was disappointed with the content.
Yeah, I don't
He
know.
said
if,
we
you know
shared
what?
very
We don't have to
basic-
worry about how we talk about it because he's
Very
probably not
basic.
listening
Was he flexing a
anymore.
little bit? We're just having fun.
He was flexing for sure.
But we're pretty sure he's a troll. We think that we're probably
I'm
starting
pretty
to get more
sure-
listeners than some of the more popular podcasts
I'm
out there.
pretty
They're trying to hold
sure-
us back.
Yeah, it's
A
probably
meat eater thing,
Mark
maybe.
Kenyon, and he's just really.
I'm thinking
upset,
straight up to the top. You know, it's probably a meat eater.
Right
Might
to
be
the
Steven
top.
Ranella.
Yeah.
It's probably Drury.
Yeah.
Juries.
You're
I'm
probably
sick of
right.
you bashing my hunting methods.
Terry
Little do we
Drury.
know, there's Babe Winkle at a keyboard typing away.
Chuck Adams.
Oh well, we made it to the top, guys. It's lonely at the top.
So funny.
What's the guy's name on the videos that cries when he shoots a big giant?
Oh, I'm trying to think. Roger Raglan.
Come on, that can't be a real
He says,
name.
You gotta
is
give
it?
me a minute.
Roger Raglan?
Stan
Whose name is
Potts.
that?
I've
gonna
never
be?
heard that guy.
Stan Potts is the name, I think.
You don't know who Roger Raglan is?
Fuck no.
That sounds like a made-up name, and
It
I
does.
like it.
Dude.
Who framed Roger Raglan? I've never heard that name before.
Dude,
I
come
never
on.
heard that either.
Roger Raglan, dude. Come on.
No, I
Who's
never.
the guy
seen
who
him
wears the
before.
bejeweled pants? Didn't
me
we
see.
talk about the guy with the bejeweled pants?
Yeah.
He looks like, what's the porn star's name?
Ron
The
Jeremy?
hog?
Yeah, he looks like a fucking hedgehog.
Let me see that.
You know what? I like the guy's face, though, man.
He looks
like
friendly.
a jolly guy.
He
like,
looks
He does
friendly.
look jolly.
really. I wouldn't want to bust down
But
Roger
look at that
Raglan.
deer he's shooting.
Oh, yeah, Roger Raglan's been laying it down for years, dude.
I had no idea. Shows how much I pay attention to that.
We're all Roger Raglan fans.
Apparently, he's
he's
been fucking
Yeah.
trolling our iTunes, too.
These
Leaving
guys
bad
are too
reviews.
popular.
Telling us how basic our information is.
You guys are so monotone.
You're only allowed to talk shit if you hunt in Michigan.
There you go.
If you don't hunt in Michigan,
Can you put something on there? Some type of regulation on the reviews?
Well, no, I can't even respond to him or anything, man. It's like, oh, I'm fucking
I think
rendered.
we're responding to him right now.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Well, that's why I repost them on social media for everybody to say, no, it's okay. He's wrong.
Where's the group of guys that are going to agree with
look for a
him?
little comfort.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
No, it's
Make
okay,
me
Kevin.
feel
It's
better.
okay.
Monotone.
We
That
like
guy's
you.
such a jerk.
These guys are talking about shooting deer over carrots and shit. I'm not into it.
Such common knowledge.
All right.
man. Well, that's good.
Well,
I'm
thanks for
glad we
having me.
drug you guys through the dirt a little bit longer.
I had no idea I was going to come do a podcast. And I just pulled up. I thought you guys would be bullshitting, having some beers. I thought it'd be
Well, that's
way over.
about to begin, man.
Yeah.
No, I'm glad you came by.
Yeah, it's good.
I wish you lived closer and we could do this
I know,
more
dude, I
often.
wish you
Get on the
you
phone.
say the same thing I say to you. I wish you could come out and pound around the swamps a little bit.
He's the swamp pounder.
That I am.
Me too. Swamp Pounder 83.
You use a big swamp stick?
My swamp stick's probably not as big as yours.
That's
But
why I
it
get
gets the
so
job done.
insecure about
Gets
the
the job
iTunes
But I
reviews.
found a website that I've been doing different exercises to lengthen out my
Get
He's
swamp
doing some
stick.
Kegels.
Get that swamp stick a little bigger. I
swamp
don't
stick
blame you.
push-ups.
They can't all be as big as mine, but
I'm part of a
Right.
club called Swamp Stick Stretchers. So
Anonymous.
real quick though, back to deer hunting stuff. When you're swamping around
Pull
up
that.
north,
pull it.
when you're swamping around up north, is there like, you know, where I'm at, you'd be walking on solid ground, and it'd be a hole
Squishy.
2 feet wide, and fucking stepping it and waist deep.
Cedar swamps are
Yeah.
pretty
You get
unforgiving.
a lot of
You
that
got to
up
get in
there.
that floating bog. You know, you got to
Yeah.
hit those. You
Yeah.
got to step around and hit the roots. Basically, you
got
want a root walker.
I fell into a
I am
bad
Groot.
one last week. Bad one. Just couldn't get my boots off or anything. Full of water. It was terrible.
I hit
Yeah.
my first quicksand bog or
I haven't
whatever
hit
down in
that
Ohio.
yet.
That was freaky. That was
Yeah.
freaky.
The swamps up there are pretty unforgiving. I've eaten shit. I've eaten a lot
Yeah.
of shit.
Yeah.
Getting in and out of the fucking.
You
tree
get comfortable. You're walking on that, solid land. You get comfortable, and then it's like
Whoops, there it goes.
stand. Dude, we've
you
walked
stop poking
for
shit like you should be.
over
You
a
step
mile
in
of
it,
no
boom.
solid land. Like over a mile of no solid
Oh,
land.
you're talking about the
just eating
Trail of Tears?
shit. Yeah, the Trail of Tears.
That was rough. That was really rough. I had like a 20-pound shotgun on my back, plus my
Yeah.
backpack and the lone wolf.
You had a lot of shit with you.
I think I was straight up grunting. You guys were concerned about me.
You were sweating profusely by the time we got back.
Yeah, I sounded like an angry boar.
All right,
Oh, it can get bad.
let's wrap this thing up.
Let's do it.
Thank you,
All right, let's do
everybody.
it.
Thanks a lot.
So we can be ourselves.
Oh man, I don't know
I
how we
can't
can be any
wait.
more of ourselves.
To get more monotone than this.
So thanks again, everybody, for the first year, and can't wait to see what this deer season
Yeah.
Yep, this next year.
brings. And we're kind of all just getting into it right now. And hell, Bomarito couldn't even pull the energy together to even talk about deer hunting. So I realize the group of guys that'll probably listen to this are like diehard
Yeah.
Yeah.
deer hunters, and good, because we've got a whole nother year some good deer hunting content coming up, I guess. Is that what we do?
We're hopeful.
Glass half full.
The glass is definitely half full. Well, thanks again, man. Thanks for having me along, Kevin, with this whole thing, and it's
Thanks for
been fun.
putting me on the spot and handing me a microphone. I thought I was coming to
But he
drink
gave you
beers.
alcohol with the microphone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
you
that-
got
Well,
Black
thanks for the
Velvet.
Black Velvet.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
The Black Velvet
Hashtag
Fest.
Black Velvet Fest.
Drew,
Thanks
sorry.
for everything. Thanks for everything.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
See you.
All right.